Michigan.
Michigan, huh? Yeah, we
I get
lucked
my
out.
first on Saturday.
Did you get sick when you got the second shot?
Well, I just got it today, so I can't tell you yet.
Oh, okay.
We can tell you you're sick.
I'm sick, huh?
If we see you pass out today, we'll know why.
The boss has been telling me that
Oh,
for
I gotta
50
write
years.
down a link here.
So,
I'm gonna be in the meeting here in just a minute. You want to go in the bedroom? No, I'll do it out here. Oh, we're supposed to be getting a new meeting site though. I gotta read this.
for some reason, the boss muted all of us, but I just took care of some of that.
I hear you.
I know, I see that. Let's see.
Hey, Ronnie,
Hey,
this is Alan down here in North Carolina. I had a question. It says the meeting time, starting time will be 7 p.m. Is that
Right.
Central Time or Eastern Standard Time?
no, Central Standard Time. The meeting actually begins at 7, but they open up the doors at 6 o'clock and let everybody just shoot the bull, and that's everybody's is friends, and we just talking about things that they did all week.
Share the weather.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? It was great down here today. It's a little over 70 degrees.
Where's that at?
I got my second COVID shot 3 weeks ago. So I'm going to sit here and lurk in the background and let y'all talk.
That's very good. Where you located?
I'm in Hillsborough, North Carolina. It's not too far from Chapel Hill.
Oh,
And Carolina just started playing a basketball game against Marquette. So I've got it on, and I've got to mute it so I can watch it and talk too, huh?
there's a lot of good automobile racing up there around you.
Oh, yeah. You better believe it. They're all over up here.
Yeah, yeah. We used to go to Charlotte, and a lot of good racing.
Used to be they learned how to race by hauling moonshine up in the mountains.
Yeah, yeah, you ain't kidding. Like Ronald Reagan pardoned Junior Johnson. What's everybody been turning this week?
Nothing.
Pens.
Wood.
Cold weather. That's what y'all been turning, huh?
Yeah, we had some cold weather, but I've been turning pens.
Oh, okay. All right. Here he is. You need a rug up there, Eddie.
You're muted, Eddie.
Can't hear you.
You need the rug and turn the volume on.
Yeah, now he's muted. Now he's unmuted, so you ought to be able to talk. We can't hear you.
No.
Can't hear you, Ed.
He's looking like he's one of them kung fu movies from the 1980s.
That's the best he's ever sounded.
He's hearing you though.
He's gonna fire you.
Yeah.
Might have to give his hat back.
Hey, while Eddie's trying to figure his stuff out, I just want to tell you all something right quick. So I'm actually not in my shop today. I'm down in Phoenix at my mom's house. But unfortunately, one of my neighbors had a stroke today, and he got medevac down to Phoenix. So I drove his wife down. Of course, she's the only one allowed in the hospital, so I'm hanging out at my mom's house today. So if all of a sudden I leave abruptly, it's because I got the phone call to head back to the hospital to go grab her. But when it comes time for show and tell, I can now show you guys some old stuff I made a long time ago that I gave to my mom because it's hanging out here at my mom's house.
Eddie, can we hear you yet? Say
I don't know, can you?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
There he
Here,
is.
Eddie.
Had the wrong button pushed.
I hate it when that happens.
I do too. Trying to figure out where I can get something at here.
Better have those controls all tuned up because next week we move into that big site.
I know. I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it.
I was just saying a few minutes ago, I went past it today and it looks like it's 3 times as big as what we have. So, and they said they want it to where we have standing room only.
Well, that's a smart move. You know, I imagine there's a little room left on the tailgate too, you know?
There you go. Yeah, maybe we can fit more trucks out in the parking lot.
that's exactly it. We'll stretch out more trucks and drop more tailgates.
There you go.
Hey, you got to bring your own coffee and donuts though.
I'll bring coffee. I don't eat donuts anymore.
Do you eat them any less? Oh, wait.
Yep, I don't eat donuts. Not for about the last 2 years with his diet. Me and Mrs. is on that keto. No donuts, no bread, no wheat pastas. Okay. Worldwide wood turning's moving. I misunderstood your video, Eddie. I thought you was gonna move up north to Michigan or say Cade.
No, I had brain damage, but they took care of it a few years ago. I'm staying put.
Hey, we got up to 50 today in Western PA.
I'm not saying it was miserable here today, but it was just cloudy. And they said all day long would have sunshine. They just missed the quality of it. I mean, but it sure was nice out there.
Yeah. We had a little bit of sun this morning, then it turned to rain about noon.
Well, the sun's been out and it's been like almost 70 degrees here for the last few days.
We'll send it back down south to you guys. We'll switch weather.
Wait, I was waiting here for Matt to see how much snow he had in his front yard.
That looks like our new website right there, Eddie.
Look how much room we have.
Love it.
Eddie, I got about 2 feet of snow in my front yard, but we've had, I hit 48 today, so it's like a heat wave and it's melting. So
You'll have a flood the next thing you know.
well, the problem is the ground is still deeply cold, so it melts and it flows across the sidewalk into the street and it all just freezes right up again. So
Okay,
it's a little
yes.
treacherous.
Yeah, well, yeah, I did a video the other day and a guy emailed me. He says, you must have a fungus in your yard because everything's green.
Yeah, I haven't seen green since like October, so.
You know, it was so nice the other day to be sitting out there just taking it easy. And the weather was perfect. In fact, too perfect. I'm sunburned on one side of my head.
Oh.
It doesn't bother me till
We lost you, Eddie.
Taking in everybody.
it doesn't bother me until I lay down, smile, or touch my head. I should be unmuted. All right.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm running through some things here. Look at that. Bring your coffee and donuts. There's plenty of room on the tailgate now. Plenty of room.
I like the burgers on that one there.
We would try to cover everything.
Okay.
All right. And just so y'all know, we're going to put it up to you guys and gals to bring in some friends, turning friends, buddies. Hey, if your club lets you talk about it on your website or your Facebook, talk about it. We tried that this week, and Ronnie tried it, and it worked for a couple hours, but then we were banned.
Aw.
But that's okay. You know, we're big boys. We can go here. So.
And big girls too. I kind of identify as a big girl.
There's a lot of people that's just jealous of us because they say this would never work.
Oh, they told us you'll never do weekly shows.
Oh, yeah?
Never. We heard that last year for 6 months. You'll never do a weekly show because people don't want it.
Yeah,
I guess.
You can never do a free club.
Right. We're proud to say we're the world's greatest free event. So we're having a lot of fun.
I know I can't make it, but are they still doing that SWAT meeting this year?
They will vote next week, I believe. Or it's in March. Pardon me, it's in March. That's next week. What the heck?
Yeah. I can't make it. I know that, but I caught some on Facebook. The AAW symposium's canceled.
Right. Yeah, I got a notice too this week. 2021 has been canceled for AAW.
They want to do a mega virtual meeting.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
But if you're not a member, it means money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't want to endorse that. Do what you like to do, but we really don't want to give it for it. We got a lot of things going on right now. And in fact, I'm getting more and more input to the 2x4 challenge through our email and website. I mean, I'm talking about pieces that you won't believe. I hope I can get some when we show them on this evening, but they're all going to be in a newsletter in what's that, in 6 days. Well, wait, 4 days. I thought I had the day off on the 29th, 30th, and 31st, but that didn't work out.
Well, it's 6:15 and we have 43 people in the house, so we're gonna have a house full tonight.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
We have Matt coming on tonight. He's going to do a little demonstration on it. He's going to get up on the feet. Matt's going to get up on his feet. Is that the way we put it, Matt? Rowe.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just still doing prep. Yeah, I think that's the way we put it.
He's going to get up on the feet tonight. That's it. We get him here, boy. Mr. Brown said he's been turning pins this week.
Yes, that's correct. In another few days, I'll have some more to send.
Oh, wow. I got a great box in the other day from somebody. Carl, and I can't recall his last name right now. I'm terrible with names. Y'all know that. But he sent a whole box full, and some of these things are absolute art. Yeah. Well, they're all art, but some are really, really cool. I mean, I can't let my wife open a box anymore. They don't all come back to me if she does. She denies it, but hey, we went to the physical therapist the other day and she gave him a pen. It was one of my pens, but she gave him a pen. I don't give away her quilts, but hey, you know.
I dare you to.
You know, that borders on the line of brave or stupid. And
yeah, I understand that. My wife used to quilt.
How about suicide?
Now she
That's
knits.
suicide.
Suicide? Yes, that would be suicide.
Yes.
You would Jeffrey Epstein yourself.
Yep.
I had heard that.
Politics. My wife hasn't quilted for a bit, but she's been knitting up a whole bunch of sheep. I mean, I even get Afghan sweater. I even get alpaca sweaters. So I ain't giving nothing up.
Well, mine thinks I'm crazy because I want a quilt that fits my bed. But I'm not a customer, so I don't get to pick that. Her customers are really, she doesn't sell anything. Her quilts go to cancer victims that are under treatment, in treatment. And she gets about 150 or more. Last year, she did 223 and she was sick some of the year.
That's a lot of sewing.
It really is. I mean, she's got that big long arm machine in there, and I'm in bed in the morning at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I can hear it humming through the house. We live in a wooden floor house, and she's in it. When she wakes up, she goes in there and starts the machines.
Yep. Never got my wife a long arm, but she does good with all the other sewing machines we got her. I got a big quilt on the bed and one for my reclining chair. And a year later, we got a double wide recliner. So now we got a quilt for that one too. Quilts everywhere.
Have you set her up for a website and for getting on Zoom meetings where they're quilting, Eddie?
She refuses to. She refuses to do YouTube, Facebook, or websites. Just flat out no.
Yeah. My wife gets on to Ravelry and talks about knitting. She hasn't quilted for a few years, couple years, but she's been knitting up a storm for the last 8 or 10 years at least. So she goes to Ravelry and chats to various people, but she doesn't website anything.
Mine goes to these retreats where there may be 25 women get together. They have cut it down to 6 right now because of the COVID.
Right.
But she organized and hosted them for the last dozen years or more. And she decided with COVID, it's a way for her to get out of this because a lot of people assume that she'll take care of it, and they don't really want to get involved. They just want to say, Cindy, you know what you got to do? And she does it, but she actually loves what she's doing, loves it. And in the way she passes them out.
Well, that's great.
It's great.
Yeah, I got me some bowl blanks drying for yarn bowls right now, and I made some Noster pins for her and her friends, but bowl blanks are still drying. It takes a while when the loggy cut's frozen.
Eddie, have you made any seam rippers for her?
Yeah, in fact, a gentleman sent me one just for her the other day, and it's rather I'm not being insulting to anybody, but it's a little bit heavy for a lady's hand. So she sat there, and this is hard to do. She sat there and critiqued it and told me what she wanted. Now, I'm not drinking, but she really did that. Yeah, all right.
You said the butt word.
Pardon?
You said the butt word.
Oh. Well, she'll normally say, you know what to do, or show me something in the catalog. I don't work well with catalog photographs. I need
Hey,
to
is our Turner on here tonight that was on last week that was telling us about the crosses and his original YouTube video, and then Mike P took it. I can't think of the name yet. I have it on top. You're here?
I'm here.
Hey, so I was telling you that I'd made some of those crosses for my mom, and I'm at my mom's house right now. So I'm going to be able to show you one that I used it kind of like a finial on top of a cookie jar.
Oh, good. Awesome.
I didn't go to the participants page and see who's in here tonight that I need to bump up. Imagine I should.
Good evening. Good evening, all.
On here, Eddie. Hey, Doug.
If you mean Doug Rowe, I'm here.
Yeah. Did you get a package for me this week?
I did not, but
Okay.
and I'm not home now, but I can check with my wife to see if it came in today.
All right. I sent you one, I don't know, maybe Monday.
Okay.
Doug, how'd he come in with the shop?
The framers are there now. They're framing it up. So cement's down. It's cured enough that they've ripped the stucco off the side of the house where it's attaching to, and they're putting up the walls. So
Yeah,
it's coming along.
I've seen what you posted on Facebook. Yeah, that's gonna be a nice shop.
I appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah, it's I'm looking forward to it.
Doug, you've seen the comment I made. Ronnie didn't see that.
What's that?
I
Ronnie,
did
you
see
can-
that. All that wood turning wood going to waste.
All them 2x4s.
Yeah, what if anybody picking up the scrap right now?
So
They're,
I
they're
had
just
actually,
piling it in
I
the middle for later.
I told the framers, I said, look, all this stuff that you guys are throwing away when you're done, that's fine. But any of the wood, I don't care how small it is. You can just put a pile in my backyard. And he said, really? You don't want us to haul it off? I said, no, I got use for it. So there's a challenge in my wood turning club, and I've been trying, but I've been failing miserably. I haven't been able to show anything that I've tried because it's just turned into wood shavings on my floor. But that looks like a lot of practice right there for me. So go ahead and leave it. Then I took them in my shop and I was showing them some of the stuff that I make and whatever. And they thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I needed some scraps of 2x the other day, and I had to take a section of fence down to get them. But it's treated. I don't want to make a pin on. Well, maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
Nah.
But
No,
the
I
CA
never
finish
liked
on
that.
it, you'll be fine.
Eddie, didn't I see your neighbor put up a new fence? Just go borrow a piece.
I already did that. Yeah, but y'all can't talk about it. He might know. But
Hey, Eddie,
yes, sir.
I think we need to ask, I'm sitting here thinking this up, the wheels are turning. Do we have anybody in the club that has a degree in design? I'm looking for somebody that has a degree in design.
You mean art?
Art, yeah, art or design.
Okay. Because you don't want an architect, you know, earn it. Trust
I
me.
have a
you're-
degree in Rube Goldberg.
Definitely not an engineer.
Yeah. You stole that one from me.
Hey, we belong to another club, and one of the guys is an engineer, and his favorite thing to turn is toilet plungers. Every time I see him or talk to him, I always give him a hard time about his toilet plungers, you know?
You know, now that you said that, I don't think that's too bad of an idea. I got a plumber that I work with that would probably get a kick out of that.
Yeah, but don't make a 2-hour demonstration on television about it. That's stretching it.
Turn them a little, I don't know, 6 or 8 inch tall little wood plunger.
No, they're just trying to get you to buy an extended program.
Ah, okay.
Ronnie.
Yes.
Hey, we've got a guy here in Lighthouse who was an art professor. He gives a good talk on art and shapes and forms for bowls and everything else.
We need to invite him and let him speak, because I have a problem with design. Like, you get tired of turning the same old bowl or whatever, but when you're standing up there in front of that piece of wood, I struggle with the art side or design. And I don't know if that's a common problem, but I'd like to see some tips on that.
I plan to
You can
talk.
look- That would be
I
great.
plan to talk a little bit about that tonight in my little demo. So I've got a slide on catenary curves and how to draw them and why that shape is appealing.
Well, that's opening the door there. So if anybody else has anything that they can add to that, we certainly would appreciate that.
If Paul Hornaby is in the meeting tonight, I don't know if he is or not, but if he's in the meeting tonight, he's got a couple pages on his website that are pretty cool. I found when I was looking for catenary curve stuff, I found his website and some of his descriptions. So
He's in here. He's in here tonight.
All right. Well, maybe Paul could speak on it too. He knows a lot about that. He's real good.
I always find a lot of ideas looking at other disciplines like pottery or glassware.
Yep.
Good for shapes and color combinations, textures, all sorts of things. Or go to a museum. Look at all the old sort of.
So one,
Yeah, I like looking at old antiquity.
They're good places for ideas as
yeah.
well.
old pottery.
Absolutely, yeah. I've got a whole file of photos on my PC. I went to it's called the British Museum in London, and it's got stuff going back sort of all through the ages, pottery, glassware, all that sort of thing, and it's just a huge array of ideas for shapes, designs, patterns, all sorts of things, and I think that there's enough there alone to keep me going for years.
That's good. That's what we need, you know.
Yeah.
All of those hints, tips, and tricks, it'll help us all out.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, let's see.
Well, there's some simple.
I just watch Kim Tippin, and that way I get all my insight on what I need.
That is if she finishes a piece. I mean, she's got stuff she's working on for weeks.
That's nothing. I've got stuff I've been working on for years.
Same.
I don't know. I've still been working on my lathe for the last 2 weeks, and I came up with another issue. So now I got to readjust. The belt was the end of my motor was too close to my headstock. So I couldn't get my full 12 inches out of my lathe. Or 6, well, it's 6 to the bed, and with the belt, it was 5.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Jake, how you doing, bud?
Pretty good. You?
All righty, I think.
Good.
Mr. John, I was talking about you this week. I can't recall the gentleman's name. He's going to be new to our club. I'm hoping that he tunes in tonight, but he's a retired gentleman, and he sits down to turn. And I emailed him, and I told him about you. I didn't mention your name, anything, but I told him that we also have another member in our club that sits down to turn, and I'm sure he would be interested in talking to you.
Yeah, you can give him my email or phone, whatever you've got there.
Okay. Yeah,
I don't mind. Yeah, I'd be glad to talk to him.
Yeah.
And on that subject, for setting down to make these pens and everything, a lot of times the tool handles are too long, and every one of the tools I use, I can remove the handle from the tool, which makes it easier sharpening. And another thing, I make them kind of with short handles so I can get them around past my body. I have a spindle roughing gouge that only has a 6-inch handle on it, and it works great for those pens and everything, and on that soft 2x4 wood for ornaments and all. So the putting handles on that's got set screws in them is a great thing, because you can shorten the tool up in them if you drill the hole long enough. And I buy the adapters that all you have to do is drill a hole in the end of the handle blank, and I buy those adapters from Cindy Drozda.
Oh, okay. You know, I have a little detail gouge that I use, and it's on a little short handle, and it's really nice to use, because when you start to use something like that, you know, it's easy to turn, it's easy to control.
Yes. Yeah. See, when you buy tools, as you all know, when you get it, some of them have an extreme amount of steel sticking out the end of a 14-inch handle, and that makes it very difficult to turn when you're sitting down. I have learned a lot of different things about tools and the size to make them and all from years I've done at sitting down at a lathe.
There's a school of thought that says you can sit at a lathe and do work. I didn't go to that school.
I didn't get all of that, Eddie. You cut out.
Okay. All right. A lot of folks say you can't do that sitting down at a lathe, but they're absolutely wrong. Since I had my tumor, I've learned how to sit at the lathe and shift. You can't sit still and straight on a regular chair, but you can shift side to side to get a motion.
At the 1236 one way that I had in my shop when I was at home, I had a secretary's chair that was redesigned a little bit to set at the lathe. I couldn't get it at the right height. The wheels worked fine on it, and I really liked using it. But I changed the model of the seat a couple different times before I got it exactly the right height that I wanted. Probably because I'm pretty short. But you get accustomed to it. And I have no problem with it. Now, bowls is a little bit different story, but I do 99% spindle work.
Ronnie, you were talking about design. And a long time ago, I was in a workshop with somebody that was up in Jackson, Mississippi. And the guy very gently, he says, okay, I just turned round part on the outside of this bowl. I want to see if there's any flat spots. And he took a regular pencil, nothing special, and he just slid it around, rolled it around the side of the bowl. And if you hit a flat spot, you'll feel it. Whereas rolling your hand over it, just move. You can't, but the pencil doesn't move. Just roll around the outside, start. And he brought up a good point. Flat spots catch light, and then you take away from the entire shape you generated.
You have a good video on that.
I do.
Yes, you do, Eddie.
That shows that same thing with a pencil or a flat piece of wood, and it works.
It's amazing what's out there. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's from a few years ago, but yeah, I remember seeing it.
Yeah. Some days I click on and go to YouTube, and they would favorite one of mine, on my channel. And I'm sometimes shocked at what I find there. I don't remember doing it, or I'm thinking, really, I'd like to do that, but he hadn't gotten there yet.
Glue stick also works well on seeing any flat spots. Get a long glue stick, stretch it over the thing, and then have a look and see if there's any light underneath it.
That's a good idea.
Whoever's typing, turn off your mic. Oh, we did say we're moving, right?
Yes.
We'll talk more about this later on, but there are 79 people in a room right now. If you go to the new site, which will have up the address and all for you to look at. Let me see a kind of new location.
Next Wednesday, we'll be in our new site.
Yep, here it is. You see that number? 860-425-52131. It's not a bad phone number. That is the new meeting number. And beginning next week, that's where we will be. On this channel, there will be a screen that says exactly this, or I'll reword it better, say, if you're looking for us, this is where you have to go. Better than that, the link will always be on our website. And if there's some type of adjustment made by Zoom on the meeting, or we have to cancel out or something like that, the link on our website will always be correct.
The oldest has. Wow.
All right.
California.
Somebody do the mute. Somebody take it. Okay, good. Thank you.
But the easiest way to come to our meeting is go to the website, click on join meeting, and you're in.
Give that number again, Eddie.
Oh, play this with me. All right. 860 425-52131. Now, once you go to a meeting, which starts next Wednesday, once you go there, there's an option on your screen for you to add it to your calendar. And you can put it in your Google Calendar and it will repeat itself. And each week, all you have to do is press on start meeting and you're there.
Yep.
But if there's any difficulties, always go to Dave Rhodes is our webmaster, and the link will be updated on the website. And Trey handles that for us. This is by the generosity of Trey. Trey will handle that for us and get Dave to have the information. So we constantly, if we need to change it, only if we need to change it, it will be up to date. But if you come to check in and we're not there, we'll have another spot for you to go. We're doing what we can. We're raising this to 300 because, well, Trey came to our rescue on this because every week we've been tapping on at 100, and that's when people are writing, calling in, texting me, emailing me, and all. I can't get on. I can't get on. I can't get on. We don't want to miss anybody. We really don't. That's our goal. Don't miss anybody. So now with the expansion, we'll be able to do that. And this is such a great feature. I thought about doing it, but I couldn't do it at this time. And Trey came to our rescue, and our rescue. Pardon me, I said that wrong. It's not mine. It's yours. So Trey came to our rescue for that, and which is what membership does. I mean, think about it. We covered so many top subjects and venues that weren't before, and I don't know a lot of people that would do all that. But the Facebook, the YouTube, the website, this program, we keep expanding and expanding and expanding because it's a goal. We do want to be the place to go for wood turning and wood turning information. And we're not sponsored. It's as free can get. It's Wednesday, the 24th of February, 2021. Yes, we did make it out of that other year. If somebody's got something to chat about, pop up there. Let's go. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
All right.
I guess we've been passing on the information that we had or knew about in the very beginning there. I don't seem to have anything else at the.
Well, we have 82 people in the house. I'm sure somebody has something.
And there should be.
What are you turning?
Bring them up.
John Brown's turning pens, but what are you turning?
Where is Brenda? Is Brenda with us tonight?
I saw Brenda on there a while ago.
Yep, I'm here. Hi, Ron.
You awful quiet, girl.
Yeah, it was a beautiful day outside today in Ohio, and I went shopping.
Good for you.
I'm trying to.
Brenda on tonight?
What kind of tools did you get, Brenda?
What kind of tools?
What kind of tools did you buy?
You said you went shopping.
Well, I didn't buy no tools. I did buy a couple of bolts, and I'm working on a not turning, but I'm working on a dressing or a makeup table for a couple of kids that I know. I'm redoing it. It's an old one. I stripped it down and took it apart and redone it and all that. And I'm adding arms to the front of it.
So Brenda, was that your grandkids I saw you with the other day?
My grandkids.
I thought I saw a picture on you on YouTube the other day holding a child.
Little boy?
Pardon me?
Was it a little boy?
Mother?
I couldn't tell what type it
My
was.
YouTube. No, I don't have a YouTube channel.
Probably Facebook.
Facebook, yeah.
Yeah, it was Facebook.
Facebook, it was Facebook. Okay.
Yeah, Facebook.
Okay. Yeah. My grandson, I have my daughter works now since I retired and I'm babysitting now. So I have him 5 days a week.
Spoil them if you can.
Oh, I do. I do.
Joys from being grandparents. Spoil them,
Don't-
sugar them up,
don't-
and then send them home.
Don't
Yeah,
look
but
so
she does
thrilled
that
about
back
it.
to me.
Enjoy them as much as you can because it's only for a short period of time.
I know.
Yeah.
They grow up and get a
Don't-
smart mouth on them.
Yeah, don't look so thrilled about it, Brenda. Your eyes were very expressive.
Yeah.
Hey, is
Yeah.
that Billy's boat with that oxygen on?
It is.
Wow. Good seeing you, Billy.
Thank you, sir. I still
Oh,
have to wear
yeah.
it's still plugged into my CPAP at night, but I'm getting through the day without it. So positive steps.
Good job.
How's your wife doing?
Well, she's over the COVID thing, but she's got a UTI that she's had on and off now for the last 3 months. They can't get it to go away.
Damn. Mercy.
Got another doctor's appointment Friday. We'll see what we go there.
Yeah, I hope it's not followed by a kidney stone.
They did a CT scan. She's clear, so I don't know.
Dane, how's your hand doing?
Well, I got the stitches out yesterday.
Oh, good.
Looking better.
Good.
Been released back to doing whatever it is that I do, as the doc said.
So did you turn today?
Yeah, I turned the bottom off of one of my bowls.
I'm envious.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. I think it's been the longest I've gone without turning in 10 years, Billy.
I went about, I think 2 years after I moved from Ohio back to Texas.
Yeah.
Without turning, only because I didn't have the garage set up to turn in. But
right.
Yeah, that nearly got me. This is getting me worse though, because now I'm in an actual shop and I need to be out there in it.
Right. Yeah. At least, yeah. Fortunately, I was able to, get out here and do some other stuff that was low impact on the hands. So, like I said, you saw my remote switch that I did, and I've been working on building a shooting board, and I've got a spear cutting jig made. So I've been keeping busy that way.
Ain't you loving that remote switch?
Yeah, except now I keep finding myself reaching for the knob, over.
That'll go away, trust me.
Yeah, I bet. But yeah, I definitely like having it where I can move it and put it wherever I want to have it at now.
Yeah, I kicked myself for waiting so long to do it.
Right? Tell me about it.
Well, you want another redo? I was on a meeting last night, and one of the guys talked about he has a plug-in to plug in either the instant stop switch or a temporary switch or a foot switch. So if you want to just do a little quick sanding, you can just push it and hold it, or let go of it, or a foot switch you want to hold it. But definitely got to leave them unplugged when you don't want them. But I thought, what a great idea. Just to add one more feature to it.
I just put a remote switch on the dust collector in the shop I have here at the retirement center. And boy, that saves a lot of steps.
Yeah, I bet it does.
Yeah, it does. I got to put one on mine too. It really, really helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put my switch on the end of the hose when I'm using it running it around. And turn on and off, and then I pull it up into the ceiling and we get it out of the way. Battery actually died the other day. I got worried, like, oh no.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
I changed the filters on my respirator this about 2 weeks ago, and I'm making it a point. You never know when those things are really dirty or they're not dirty because you can't really see. But I make it a point that I change my respirator filters once a year, and I put new filters on and went to Home Depot and bought them and put it on there, and you can really tell the difference. And so just because you can't see them, change them out frequently. And so you'll be breathing fresh air,
Yeah.
Good idea.
Or change filters often. Yep.
Did you know you're also supposed to keep them in a Ziploc baggie, not just hanging them on the on the wall with the rest of the tools, and the filters last quite a bit longer too.
Oh, I didn't know that. Most of the time when I go to grab my respirator, I gotta take the air hose and blow the face piece out because it's got shavings in it. So.
No, somebody had told me, and I didn't believe him. I thought the guy was just pulling my leg. And my brother has been in the commercial painting industry for many, many years. And I asked him, and I said, "Hey, Kenny, is that true? My respirator is supposed to be in a Ziploc bag?" He said, "Doug, if OSHA shows up onto the job site and they don't see our respirators in Ziploc bags and they're not on our face, they tell us we got to throw them away. They're not approved anymore."
Oh.
And I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah, it makes them last that much longer."
Wow.
Well,
Interesting.
Yeah, the other thing is, like, you know, with this day and age with all the stuff going on, I make sure you have to use.
I'm gonna get a
when you need
Ziploc
'em.
bag for my face mask.
I don't know, a couple companies I worked for over the years, if OSHA showed up on our job site, close the toolboxes and walk away. OSHA's not
Yes,
allowed to
that's
look in your
generally the
gang
best
box.
idea.
OSHA's not allowed to look in your gang box, so just put everything in it and walk off the job.
I had an OSHA inspector one time come up and was checking tools as a plumber showed up, and the guy pulled out a brand new, I mean, it wasn't marked up or anything, 1/2-inch drill, and only had 2 prongs on it because it was insulated. And the OSHA guys asked him, "Well, how can I check the ground?" That scared me.
Yep.
I was waiting for him to tell you can't use a double insulated tool. Apparently he kind of caught the drift. But they're there to help us. Got to think about that.
Yeah, they are.
I heard something funny on news the other day, news thing, like, when driving outside, watch out for the snow. Where else would you be driving?
A really big garage.
That must have been one of them southern places where y'all don't get that much.
Yeah, but it snows here. Just 3 flakes that we all go home, get our cars and go driving around.
Hey, come on, don't mention that S word.
At public demonstrations, our tools and anything electrical have to be tested and tagged in Australia. Anyway, bloke wanted to tag and test my bloody cordless drill.
I don't understand that. I've seen some really interesting OSHA people that shouldn't even been out there.
Oh, you're telling me.
God, that has to be tasted.
There's Donald.
Donald's masked up. It's either mask or the casket. Donald's ready.
It's gonna be hard for him to drink coffee and eat donuts though, with us.
Yeah, well, we said earlier we can't do that donut thing, right? Oh no, we can do it.
I can't, but you guys can. I'll bring donuts. I just don't eat them.
Okay.
Or maybe I'll ask the missus to make some baklava. Uh-oh.
You all right?
Good. So
Keep that in Canada.
he didn't get it from me. I promise.
Where's your mask?
All right, Bob, what have you been turning this week? I saw Bob out there. Right, yeah.
Hello, Mr. Bob Moffitt.
I turned a couple. How you doing? How's the Facebook guy going?
Oh, we're doing all right.
I've been turning a couple bowls out in the garage. Got some finish drying on them.
Well, go get them so you can show them to us tonight.
Well, they still smelly, so
we won't smell them. It's okay. Got to remind you, folks, we've been talking about a little bit tonight while we're chatting. Freedom Pens. Sergeant Doug Rowe's in with us this morning. He's at his mom's house, but we're still collecting Freedom Pens, and we're getting a pretty good turnout. Mr. John Brown's in on it. Had a couple come in this week from another guy, Carl, and I have 2 coming from a guy who saw a thing about we're doing a pen challenge. And I hope I don't think I have a screen up for it yet. It'll be in the newsletter next week. But we're doing a pen challenge. And part of the deal is when you send us a photograph of your challenge, you agree or want to or do or whatever, send one to Doug Rowe for the challenge so he can give to our troops. But they don't count unless we give them to our troops. That's why it's a Freedom Pen Challenge. And we're collecting them. I'm getting bits and pieces from folks every day, really every day. And I'm putting them in one box to send to Chuck, Doug, and hope those get out this week. It's up to, I don't do packing, management does. So, all right, who else is turning this week? Somebody else is turning. What's going on?
I can show you my finished base from last week.
Hey, all right.
Yeah,
Kim's there. What you got, Kim?
Sorry, I had to grab it out of the bag. I'm trying to clean my shop because it's a hot mess. I went to a yard sale this past weekend and I got probably about $5 grand worth of pin kits, sanding stuff, and wood for only $200. So I had a truckload of stuff that I bought for real cheap, and now I have to find a place to put it all. Yay. I mean, I'm happy about it, don't get me wrong.
So
yeah.
all this stuff so cheap.
I can hit your yard sales.
This is it.
So the poor gentleman passed away, and he was a hoarder / hobbyist of everything. So he had everything that required working with your hands. He had the best of it all. So hear me?
Kim, stand by 1 second. I'm going right back to you. All right, just all right. I muted everybody, and now I'm going to go back. I think you can talk, Kim. I want to see. Can you? No, I'm going to. I have to find it. There we.
Okay, I got it. I think. Okay. I got it. All right. So the gentleman had passed away. He was a hobbyist of everything, anything and everything that you could think of. He worked with your hands, from stone tumbling to metal work to. He had a metal lathe in like a 200 square foot shop, wooden floor, and it was like falling in. That sold pretty quick. I don't know. It was the amount of stuff in wood. And to give you an idea, the lady who is selling all the stuff, she just gets paid in cleaning the houses. So she brings all the stuff home and then sells it to make her money. Well, they had no idea what they had when it came to all that wood stuff, because they were burning maple burls in a wood fire because they were trying to keep warm, and they were burning maple burls. It took everything I had not to jump in the fire. But anything that had maple on it or anything else, they're just like, oh, they related that to like wood that you would use for smoking, you know? And so they just were throwing it in the fire. Purple Heart, they were burning. It was, so I offered her, I said, well, how much do you want for all of it? And she was kind of like, I don't know. So I ended up walking away with quite a bit for very inexpensive. So I have no excuse to not turn a pen, because this whole box is full of pen kits and I paid less than $15 for it.
Whoa.
There's
Doug Rowe, wipe the drool off your face, Doug.
I'm trying.
So there's pen kits in there that are like $15 a piece. They're not cheap. They're really nice pen kits. Billy, I was on the phone with him the other day whenever I brought home the load, and he got to see all the bounty that I brought home. I felt like I robbed a woodcraft. I mean, you name it, I got it from this yard sale and only paid $200. So I'm giving some out because it's just no way I'm going to turn. There has to be, I don't know, 500 or more pen kits in there, and I'll never turn. I don't even really care to turn pens, to be honest. It's small and it's challenging for me. It's so challenging for me. So a little admittance there. I don't like turning pens, but so I'll probably be donating it as I'm trying to get through it and find out what's what, and then just give pen kits to whoever turns pens. And especially for this freedom thing, I think that would be good. So if you need a pen kit to turn a pen for the challenge, email me And I'll get 1 or 2 out to you because I'm sure I'll have plenty. And then wood for days. And anyways, that's not what I wanted to brag about. Sorry.
No problem.
So this is the finished.
That is
It's a
nice.
manzanita burl. And I got it hollowed out. The reason I'm holding on a rag is because I did it solid black and it really did amazing as far as like making this red and orange stand out. But the bad thing is every little dust particle, it shows up, every little fingerprint. I've buffed it with the buffing wheel 1,000,000 times. And each time you just breathe on it, it's like it shows. So needless to say, I can't wait till I sell this because I can't have something that shows all that dust in my house. I'm clean, but I don't like knickknacks because I don't like dusting. So yeah, it turned out
That's
beautiful.
a very nice piece.
It really is.
Very nice. Very nice.
That's beautiful.
As far as that shape thing goes, a friend of mine came over and he I asked him, I said, how does it look? Because I don't do measurements, I just kind of go by eye. And so he did the same thing with the ruler and he went across it to find a flat spot. And there was a slight flat spot right here, which it was so minuscule that I was able to actually sand out. But yeah, I didn't even think to do that until he did it. He came over and he just went whoop with the ruler. He was right here. And like you said, you can't really see it with your eye, but it's like Eddie said, it will hit that light, especially something this glossy. And it will be like for people who, pick up on those details. And anyways, yeah,
it'll jump out. That's a gorgeous piece, Kim.
Really nice. Very nice.
I'm definitely proud of it. I hate I love the colors, but I hate the fact that it's like everything in my shop right now is sticking to it.
Thank you, Kim. All right, beautiful work. Beautiful work. All right, hi. It's coming up on 2 minutes to the top of the hour. I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. You're part of Worldwide Woodturners. And we started this a couple of weeks ago. And I think it's time to just continue this project, really. So at this point, I'm going to introduce you to this week's Woodturner of the Week. This week's Woodturner of the Week. Woodturner of the Week. There he is.
Woohoo! The best dressed man in here. Dressed.
He wears a tube top like no other turner in the world.
Congratulations.
Congrats. Congratulations.
Well worth it. Congratulations, Doug.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
I didn't.
Congratulations, Doug.
I just got a kiss from my mom.
Congratulations,
That
Doug.
made it all worth it.
Did you wear your tutu for this?
Yes, I did. No, I didn't. I need to go get one on. Mom, I need some women's clothes to wear. I'll explain later.
No, Mom. No, Mom. No, don't do it.
Yeah, no, don't do it, Mom.
No, please don't.
They're saying no, Mom. Don't do it. Don't give me any women's clothes to wear.
And
Doug,
Yeah.
Doug, let's see Mom. Tell Mom to wave at us.
Oh, hold on, Mom. They want to see you. Hold on. Let me get my camera turned around.
I got to go back over to that.
Okay, there's my mama. Hi. Spotlight me.
Hi.
Hi, Mom.
There she is.
I'm gluing one of my son's things back together that I broke.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's gonna stick now.
There we go.
I thought because they were made out of wood, they wouldn't break, and my great-grandchildren came and were playing with them and dropped them, and they broke.
Tell your son he's got to make you a new one.
Yeah. When it's my turn for
Lifetime warranty.
gallery, she's got a few things here that I've made. Back in the day when I didn't know that greenwood warped and some other things, we can have a good laugh at it.
Oh, hey, let's laugh right now, Doug. We got you up
All
on
right.
spotlight.
So this at one time was a flat saucer, but it's quite warped now. And that's the handle on the cup that my mom was trying to glue back on, that my great nephew, he was playing with it and snapped it off. Anyway, it's quite a few years old though. It's not that big a deal. This was my first year wood turning back in, I don't know, whenever I got my first lathe. I want to say 2016, I think was when I got my first one. And then green lids will split and do weird things. But that's the lid to...
I got all the same ones.
So that's mulberry on the top and bottom, and then colored pencils in the middle. So I made that for, and then what I did for the top, that there is just a cabinet knob that I put on there. And then you guys have seen the stuff I've made out of candy hearts before. There's a little teacup and saucer that I made her out of candy hearts. This is what I wanted to show you guys, the crosses. So that's a cookie jar turned out of end grain elm. And I made the cross right there in that 4. And then the pen, so little colored pencils on the bottom to make it sit. And then it's a cheater pen, so I just took apart a Bic pen, put it together for.
Got my egg.
Oh, she says I have to show you the egg that I made her. Oh, they saw that. I showed you guys that when I made that for her at Christmas time.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not wood turning, that's scroll sawing, but I made that out of a piece of can't think of it now. Oh yeah, I guess I did make you a Christmas ornament. I forgot all about that one. Okay, there's her Easter egg from a few years ago. Okay, Mom, that's enough. There's other people that got to show stuff. But anyway, when I said my mom likes crosses, I'm not kidding.
And angels.
And angels, crosses and angels.
Wow. And you'll wonder why we named him Wood Turner of the Week.
Yeah.
He's making his mama happy.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but I tell all the people all the time, Eddie Caslin always reminds me of my dad. My dad was Air Force. That's my old man, rest in peace. But
we love you, Mom.
All righty, Mom. Wave bye to everybody.
Nice seeing you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Mom.
Bye.
Loves it.
You guys are awesome. That just made my mom's day. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Does she realize?
Eddie?
Yes, sir.
It's 5 after the top of the hour. We now have 100 people in the house. We are at our maximum. We need to remind everybody, starting next week, we tripling our size, and we need your help. We need for everybody to call their friends, their family, anybody that's interested in either looking at people turning wood, or if they're interested in turning wood, or if they just want to be part of our club. So we'd appreciate if anybody has a YouTube site. Please mention us. Give us a few 20 seconds or whatever, and remind people it don't cost them anything. It's a free club. So right now we're sitting at 100.
All right. And what Ronnie was talking about is here it is. We're moving to a new channel. I got a second here. Trey, one of our members and one of our demonstrators and one of our good friends, he's a busy guy. Trey came to our rescue and has tripled our maximum wood turner level, which means we can increase it to 300 turners per meeting. And if you want to come to the meeting, you see that phone number right down the bottom? It's not a phone number. It is a code number, access to program. Now, it is that number at this time. And next week, March 3rd, it'll be the first day we'll be accessed on that number. But if you don't write it down, you can always go to our website and look for the link to the meeting. And Dave Rose, who's our IT master, will have it updated to what we to the active number that we'll have at that time. So if you have a need to if you don't find us, we're still there. Just come look for us. And we're doing this to expand the horizons of worldwide woodturners. And as Ronnie said, it's free. There's no money. I get a call, I guess it's once a week, from somebody that wants to know how can they sponsor us? How can they be one of our members to be promoted? And I have to tell them all the same thing. There is no promotion, no advertisement, no partnership with a firm or a manufacturer or whatever that is. I want what you know. And that's what we're doing. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we had a little problem with CA. I don't have a problem with CA. Ronnie had a problem with CA. And Ronnie went looking for a solution to the problem with CA. Ronnie found the scrumpy old guy from east of us who does lessons, and they hooked up on, what is it, Ronnie? What's the product?
It's Parfix.
Parfix. All right. And because, well, I'm going to get on it, so I'm going to talk. Parfix. And Ronnie and I, in a kind of a challenge thing, we agreed we want to see what these two products do. So Ronnie's turned a piece, and today I shaped up and resanded something that I probably turned 6 or 7 years ago before that went bad. And I shaped it up, and I'm holding it with a kind of a Longworth. Somebody makes it, and it's really awesome. It's all plastic. What we're going to do is go to Ronnie's, and Ronnie's going to finish his. I'm going to finish mine first because Ronnie doesn't want me cheating off him. I'm going to finish mine, and we're going to have a live clock in the background, so you can see how much time elapses while I'm working on this. So if you see, well, my finish took me 36 minutes. The video won't be that long, but you'll be able to see it in real time. And Ronnie will then get up and finish his piece on a real clock, just to give you an idea of what these two things will do. And Ronnie cheated because he went to Mark Soleil for help. And, you know, Mark's are really great.
When are you guys going to do that, Eddie?
We hope to do it maybe next week. I had to wait for Ryan to get a second shot and put that little shot collar on before I could go over there.
Hey, Eddie.
There he is.
You can go to YouTube, just look up Mark Soleil finishes wood with Parfix 3408. It's all on the YouTube.
Yeah, but that
Mark,
that would be cheating.
Mark,
what?
When we put this video out, I'm gonna call you and make sure that you're online in case they have any questions that I can't answer.
Okay.
We'll refer back to you and let you answer the questions.
Okay, that's fine with me.
But I've been pushing that 3408. I'm telling you, it don't get any easier than that, right?
Whoa. Give me a break, man. Wait for the demo. Come on.
But I told Eddie that he has to do his piece first and then let me do a piece after that, because I don't want him to change his ways in the way that he normally puts CA on.
Okay. That's a good deal.
Yeah.
I think you said that I can't cheat off his paper. That's it.
Oh, Eddie, I think he's bringing in a ringer.
I do too. You know, he's setting it up too. You know, it works. It works. I'll go.
Next will say you got a bad wrist on Mark to finish it for you.
That's why I want to be there when he does it.
Okay.
Because if you just see hands on the video, whose hands are they? You know,
right.
So, not that there's no trust between us. There is none.
Mark.
What?
I said they giving us a hard time, but we're gonna show them how easy this is.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
All right.
Somebody better keep out on both of you.
Yeah. Give us a break. We'll find out when it happens, and that's why we do this on Worldwide Woodturners. I want to know what you do. You want to know what I do. And then we take it, decide what we really want to do. Or we show turners that have no idea what to do. When I tell people on the telephone how I finish something, what'd you finish with? CA. What is that? It's called super glue. Yeah. And well, you can't use that to that. You can't. And here it is. Both of these products are super glue considered products. Ronnie's and Mark is using a different formula, which was developed for a little bit different reason. And I'm using another formula, which was developed for a different reason. And they both have different actions and reactions and curing times and everything else. If you don't know exactly what to do, we want to help you out with that. But I'm not limited to CA. That's not fair. So if you've got something yourself you want to show us how to do a finish, put a gloss on, and present something with a more matte finish on it, I like the name matte. It can all happen here. We have a demonstrator lined up tonight. The snow's only a couple of foot deep in front of his shop today, with the ground's frozen, but Matt Harber made it out there. Matt, you ready to go?
Sure.
All right. Matt, I'm going to, whoop, I got to get you back on spotlight. Matt Harber is out of the Detroit area. And boy, I tell you, I've seen some of your work lately. I don't know how it gets to me, but it comes to me in emails from all kinds of turners. They see things you do in your club challenges. You must be big in that.
Well, it's you know, I love the club challenges because it's just, you know, it may push you to do something that you don't normally do, you know, and it might push you outside of your normal comfort level and you learn stuff. So I love club challenges because they're great for that sort of thing. So tonight what we're going to do...
Matt, you're a little low.
Story of my life. Is that any better?
Barely. How's everybody else hearing them?
Weak.
We're weak, Mark.
Yes, weak.
I don't have any extra batteries for this. It's no pleasing you guys. You know what? Let me change batteries. Give me about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's definitely
we'll do that.
batteries. It's kind of muffled too. You know?
Hey, Eddie,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
while we're waiting on Matt, we're sitting at a full house right now, 100 people. I would ask anybody that's a new member or anybody that hasn't come forth yet, step forward, introduce yourself, tell us what kind of wood turning you do, what you're interested in, and also what you would like to see. So we'll bring forth what other people want to see besides what we think they want to see. As you in this club, you're going to find out there are no favorites. There is no clique. If you want to participate, you just open your mic and say something, introduce yourself, and we'll be happy to let you tell us about what kind of wood turning you like to do.
All right, I'll start. Robbo Robertson from Australia. I'm a production turner.
Hold on just a second. Let us highlight you.
Go ahead. Say again.
I'm Robbo Robertson.
There he is.
I got your out.
No,
that's not me.
Well, that's John.
I'm worse looking than those two gentlemen.
Talk, I can't find Rubble.
There you go.
There he is. I'll go back to Rob.
We'll be with you in a second.
I'm ready. I'm ready whenever. Go ahead. Go ahead, Robo.
Robo, did you put your name
Robbo.
on, did you put your name on your Zoom login?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Robbo Robertson. I'm a production wood turner in Australia. My claim to fame is I have a 40-foot lathe that's hand turned, no CNCs or anything in my place. And we turn flagpoles, ships' masts, stuff like that. And production work of up to 300 or 400 items at a time. I've been turning for over 40 years.
40-foot lathe, everybody's rolling.
And he's got some great skew videos.
Thank you.
Morning, Robo.
Robo,
Where in
can you do
Australia
a,
are you?
Robo, can you do a demo for us? Show us one of those flagpoles.
They only come in every now and again, but if one comes in, yeah, definitely.
Or anything that you could get on a big lathe, you know, we're looking for anything like that.
No worries.
Did you say 40 feet?
Yeah, 40 feet.
Oh my goodness gracious.
You get a lot of exercise walking backwards and forwards, I tell you.
Yes, you do.
Where in Australia
Wow.
are you?
The tool rest. I know I'm rolling.
Sorry,
That's
we've got tool rests that extend the whole distance.
Oh.
Wow.
Yep.
You cutting it by hand?
Yes.
You must have 10 or 20 steady rests on that thing.
Yeah, we run up to 15.
What kind of horsepower?
3 horsepower.
That's all?
That's all.
Wow.
Where are you in Australia?
A little place called Tippin down the southeast of Melbourne, down on top of Western Port Bay in Victoria.
Okay. So you're south of Melbourne, then you said?
Southeast, yes.
South.
All right.
What I'll do is I'll put a link up in the chat of one of my videos of turning a fairly long, it's called it's a gaffing rig off a sailing ship. So I'll put that up as a link in the chat if you like.
And our webmaster will link it up on our website. So folks, if you missed it in the chat tonight, you'll find it on our website. Thank you and welcome, Robo.
I got a question for you before you leave. Can I ask him a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. Do you ever turn ink pens on that machine?
Oh, now you're swearing at me. I don't turn pens. I have never turned a pen. I have no desire to turn a pen. But on one of
for turning one.
I mean, Kim can send you a kit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I have turned a toothpick. I've got a Wadkin RU as well, which is only 3 meters between centers, but weighs 5 ton. And I've turned a toothpick on that just to prove a point.
Oh my god!
You can turn a magic marker on that thing.
I bet you don't get much weight. I won't bet you don't have to chase it around the floor with it being out of balance.
No, actually, it can be a little bit of a problem in that if the timber is out of balance, the lathe does not move. And if you get the revs up too fast, you can actually fling the timber. It just flies apart. So you always got to be wary of it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Thank you, Robo.
Ain't going to help much.
And right now we're going to go back to Matt. He changed the batteries. And Matt, we're ready for you again, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Sorry about that. Hope this is louder.
Yes, better.
Great, thanks.
Better not, Matt.
A little bit.
Thank you. Okay, yeah. What we're going to do tonight is show you guys how to carve feet on the bottom of a piece. So what I want to do is your feet profile are not limited to stubby little things that hold things up like on the bottom of a cauldron. You can turn any shape you want. And because you're turning it on a lathe, the bottom of it where it contacts the table or the shelf or whatever is always going to be flat and even. So you could turn a piece and put 5 legs on it if you wanted. So let me go here. This piece at the top, number 1, was a piece that I turned. I saw a square piece, a rectangular box somewhere in an advertisement and said, you know, I could do that round. And I just turned the little feet on the bottom of it and carved them out. So that's a possibility. Picture number 2 here is a table legs. You could do something like this on the bottom of your piece if you wanted to. And picture number 3 is what I call cauldron legs. They're just a little feet on the bottom of something to pick it up off the table a little bit and give it a little added extra. So feet can include any number, 2, 3, 4, etc., because the bottom is true and level. So you can lay the piece out, the legs profile on the lathe, or with a compass points or protractor. And I find it helpful to mark out which parts you're going to carve away, because you don't want to carve away something that you wanted to keep. And you can do the carving on the lathe or off it. And you can finalize the feet shape on the lathe. And your profiles are limited by your own imagination. And you can also use carving feet to get rid of bad wood. So let's say you've got a crack in a piece on the bottom and you want to carve it away, you can do that by carving legs. So when you turn the piece and when you finish the bottom, the goal is to blend the sides of the piece with the bottom, the interior of the bottom. So you do that while carving, but when you turn the bottom off and shape the interior of the legs, that's something that you got to keep in mind. And of course, whenever you're carving something, you don't carve too deeply. You can always take more wood off, but it's hard to put it back on. So creep up on your final lines, and the last details can be done with sanding. All right, so here's this piece again. I typically use a recess or a mortise to hold the piece in the jaws, because I'm going to cut out the middle anyway. So, you turn the top section like you would a normal bowl, leave room for the feet and legs, and carve the profiles. So I'm going to start with that and show you basically how to do that. Now, before I wade into this, I want to talk a little bit about, wrong direction, catenary curves. Okay, this is something a lot of turners work on catenary curves, and basically what you're doing with a catenary curve is you're hanging a chain, allowing gravity to make it fall freely, and that helps you define the shape of your piece. Catenary curve is the St. Louis arch, which is the middle top picture, is basically an inverted catenary curve, and that's shown on the rightmost picture. There's a lot of ways you can do this. Let me switch back to my view here. I've got a chain here, okay? And if I'm hanging it between 2 points, I'm generating a catenary curve. If I bring it closer together, I still have a catenary curve. If I shorten it up and raise one side to higher than the other, then I still have a catenary curve. And this is a really good way to help check the shape and the curve of your piece. Towards me like this a little bit, so that you can, to get a pleasing curve, and so you're not making a dog bowl or whatever. So anyway, that's I wanted to talk a little bit about that. The group of us is trying to understand ways to help express bowl design without hammering somebody's piece in a critique. And we thought that the best way to do it might be to just discuss bowl design. And I would recommend several of our group members, Paul Hannaby or whatever, however you pronounce your name, Paul, I'm sorry. But he's got some real good stuff on his website about bowl design also. All right, so any questions so far?
No. I'm cool. I just want to see you do it.
Okay, so I'm going to switch. This is a little piece of pole barn Doug's choke cherry. It's got a nice crack in it. I just turned it round and I put a little mortise in the bottom of it, and that's what I'm going to mount on the lathe. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn the outside and show you how I set up the profiles, and then I'm going to switch to a piece that I've already hollowed out the bowl, and show and define the legs so that you guys don't have to watch me hollow out a bowl, and to save time. All right. So let's say that I want my legs to start here. All right. And so this part here is going to be my bowl.
Call from network.
It's not me. I got my phone on hold.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
Matt, is that on your line?
That's not me.
All right.
Nothing.
What's your problem?
Hold on. Stand by, Matt. Stand by 1 second.
How was your day?
Like what?
All right, Matt, I'm coming back to you now. I think I can do this and get you back.
I unmuted myself.
Okay. All right. You're back. I'm sorry. Apologize for that.
No problem. So I'm just defining my shape here. And maybe I'll put a, so now let's say I want my feet here, and the bottom of my feet are going to be here. This part here is what's going to sit on the table. Okay. So
Sorry to ask, the bowl on the right is what you're going to put the feet on, correct?
yeah, this
Okay.
here, let me do this. Okay. The legs of the feet is just going to be this part here. Okay. So this is the bottom. This part sits on the table. This is the legs that I'm going to carve, and this is the bowl. Okay. Is that clear?
Well, your waist block, technically your waist block is where that last cut you made. It's
Yeah. This
like a
is
party
waist.
cut.
At this point, this is waist, and I
Okay.
made that decision like on the fly, just right this second. Okay.
It's really cool, guys, if you lay this out on a piece of graph paper, so you get a better idea of where you're going and how you're going to get there.
So, and I'm just playing around with the feature here, and I want to define, get a nice cut here on my legs. And okay, now at this point, what I would do is take the tailstock away and hollow the bowl and sand it. Okay. But I'm going to switch to a piece that's already been done that too, to save time. Because we all
magic of video. The
What's
magic
that?
of video. It's the magic of video.
That's right. So, and this piece was a little funky, so I put a tenon on it because it was all bark and stuff, but same general principles. So this piece here is the same sort of thing, only I've done the bowl, the bowl. You know what? I want to put this on my vacuum chuck. So let me switch that. Any questions so far?
No.
No, but it's 30 minutes after. I'm going to put you on hold for 1 second. Go ahead and make your change, folks. And then we'll get right back into Matt with the demonstration. But in the meantime, I just want to let you folks know that we're growing. Our program is going to get even larger than we are right now. And that's with the generosity of one of our members, and who's also a demonstrator and also a participator and also advisory team member. You see, we all got a little job here. So we're growing, and effective next week, March 3rd, we will not be at this meeting number. Oh, we'll be at this time, and we'll have the same kind of meeting, but for more guys and gals. See, we got a new truck. Big tailgate, plenty of room. Bring the donuts and the coffee. We're going to be there next week, and you're invited. How do you get there? Well, we have a website, and it'll be updated. But right now, this is what's, see that code on the bottom of the screen? That is our membership code or our meeting code for Zoom. You go into Zoom and you type in join meeting. It's going to say what you're meeting. There it is, 860-425-52131. You type that in, and it will connect you directly to our meeting. And it's real simple process, but and if it ever changes, it will change on our website. So that's where you need to go if you want to be part of the program. And we welcome you and your friends. We can't wait. It's going to be a great, great evening next week when we start off. But I really, really want you there. Go ahead, Matt. We're back on you. You're on vacuum, Chuck.
All right. Yep. The background noise you hear is the vacuum truck. That didn't work. Hang on. Here. All right. Let me turn this off. I'm not sure that's any better.
Not really.
Any better? No. Okay. It's some lighting issues. Let me fix that. So this piece here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the tail stock up while I take out the bottom here to define the legs, and then I'll do some carving.
Okay.
So that's the first thing I'm going to do. All right. Hopefully that's enough. Guess not. So you need some light, but not a lot of light. How's that? That's better.
Oh, okay. Yeah, much better, much better.
All right. So
it looks like it's wobbling, but that's just a Shatorians blinking out, right?
Sure, that's what it is.
Yeah.
This is a piece. This has got some bark on it, so that's what you're seeing. Now, if you're doing long legs, then you can hollow this stuff out with a, with a Forstner bit, and that'll save you some time. Now, one of the things I'm watching here is I'm watching the side of my piece here. So the side of my piece, see if I can show that over here. The side of my piece, it needs to meet the bottom on the interior. So I'm watching that very carefully, and one of the ways you can check that is by drilling through the side in a place where you're going to cut it out, so that you can see how close you're getting to where you're going to be, where you want to be. Is that confusing, or is that clear? Is anybody?
Oh, it's like a cheater hole on when you're trying to make something, a platter very thin. Yeah. The pierce or whatever, you put a cheater hole in so you can measure at that point.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. Is you're putting a cheater hole in so you can watch it, so you know when you're deep enough.
If you're just tuning in, we have Matt Hannaby joining us this evening, and we're doing, or he is doing, some feet on a bowl. And you're welcome to join in. In a little while, we'll open up the mics. So if you have a question for him, that's the time to do it. And we'll resume gallery right after this also. It's your club. You're welcome to participate.
Now, I'm going to get a bunch of questions about what the best way to carve feet is. And I have tried a bunch of different things. I've tried using my scroll saw. I've tried using my band saw. I've tried using one of those things that comes with the funky blades. I've tried using a coping saw. And the method that I use is I literally carve it away with Saburrtooth burrs. Okay. And for me, that's been the most efficient and the most easily controlled. One of the things that I've found, especially when I've turned funky cracked wood and I'm trying to, and it's thin, the legs are thin or the feet are thin, is that some of those saws, especially the bandsaw or the, I don't know what you call that device that's got a sort of vibrating saw on the end of it.
Dayton saw.
Yeah, I've shattered some of the thin walls on these pieces. So what I'm doing now is I think that my sides are about where they need to be, maybe a little deeper here. And I'm going to try and finish off the bottom bit here before I take it to carving. Okay. So I need to put another cut here. This part here, doesn't matter how many legs I carve, but this part here, this face here is going to sit on the table. So if I carve 3 legs or if I carve 6 legs, this part here will still sit on the table, the bottom of the piece. So I want to carve this. I want to go a little deeper here. Now, this contour on the inner part of this wall here, I'm trying to match the outer contour on my feet or legs here, because that's going to be the inside of it. And this bottom part of the bowl is going to be the bottom of my piece. So I'm riding my bevel across the bottom of the bowl. All right. Any questions about any of this so far?
You're going to take that center point completely out and smooth that bottom out, correct?
Absolutely, I am. But I'm trying to keep it in here as long as I can for the support.
As long as Matt's making those slice cuts, he won't have a lot of brisance, as they say, on a grain, because he's slicing it off, not gouging it off.
Yep, and I can get a slice if I ride the bevel like this. Can you all see that? If I ride the bevel like this with the face closed in like this, the wood spinning around this way is meeting the tool edge that's cutting at a very steep angle. So I get a really nice smooth slicing cut. And at this point, I'm going to try and just cut this off. It's close. Yeah, we're loose now. So I'm going to take it down real carefully and real slow with real thin cuts here, and then make a final cut across the face like this. Very gently. And at this point, I'd sand. All right. Now, the fun part. I'm going to try to lay out 4 legs here, and I'm going to try and lay them out so that I cut 2 here and 2 here. You know what? Let me do. So I'm going to lay them out with a Sharpie. so that y'all can see what I'm doing. So I want one here and one here, but that gives me one here and one here. And then I want one here and one here and one here and one here. Do I like those?
Do they all sit on a flat? I thought the lowest one.
Because the bottom surface is, this surface here is flat.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter how I carve stuff away. So I'm carving away this stuff here, and this stuff here, and this stuff here, and this stuff here. And
I got you. The light had me going for a minute.
Yeah. So, and I'm going to extend my sort of lines around so I can see what so I can see it on the other side here too. All right. So I use Saburrtooth burrs primarily, and I use them on my Fordham. So let me get that here. So this is the green one on my Fordham, which is what they call coarse. And get some of this out of the way here so I can put this here.
Matt, show us that whole tool so we can see it.
Okay, hang on. The tool is it's a hanging motor. Okay, so it's got this hanging thing, and usually it sits beside my desk where I carve behind me here. But it looks like this, and it's got a shaft and a foot pedal. So let me get that plugged in here.
And well, unlike the Dremel, this thing's got some serious power to it.
Yeah, well, I will use the Dremel also. And you could do this with just the Dremel. Now, when I carve, and rule number one is get your tool rest out of the way. When I carve, I try to use a 3-point stance. And a 3-point stance is 3 points of contact. So 1 point of contact is the tool itself, the tool burr itself. The other is my second hand and my third hand. So I've got 1, 2, and 3 points of contact on the wood. So at this point, I just start carving. Let me make sure I'm on here. All right. And if you want, you can lock your piece with, on your lathe with your spindle lock, and be sure to creep up on your lines. Don't go over. So there's really my line. Aggressive. And use dust collection.
That cutter really goes.
Yep, and I'm not really pressing all that much. So, and I don't want to go into the bottom of my bowl here. So
there's a question about what kind of cutter is that?
That is called a Saburrtooth burr, made by the company called Saburrtooth, Saburrtooth. They make primarily wood and plastic cutting burrs and wheels. They make them for, people who do ice carving and wood carving. So they come in. This is a 1/4-inch shank on this one for the Fordham, and I have a number of the burrs for the Dremel also. So I'm gonna shift to another Saburrtooth burr, which is the white, which is the extra fine, And this is in my cordless Dremel, okay? So I'm going to use that to do very fine details to creep up again on my legs.
The name of the tool is on our chat. Before you leave this evening, folks, save the chat.
So you refine it, and Saburrtooth makes, I'm going to switch to a different burr here in the Fordham. So this is one that I like to use on to get rid of this bit here, to knock this down a little bit more. So this is, instead of the coarse one, the green, this is the yellow one. You can't really tell how yellow, there it's a little bit of yellow. But this is, this one's a little bit longer. And one of the techniques that I do here while I'm carving this is I'm going to come across like this and roll the tool across like this to get this smoothed out a little bit more.
Looks like the different heads are easy to change, huh, Matt?
Yeah, I really like the Fordham. I mean, it's just like any other thing you're doing on the Fordham. They're pretty quick to change. So I use the Fordham on a lot of my power sanding, my final sanding. So, but you know, it's just as, you know, it's just as easy to change. So, I mean, basically what you do is it's just like a Dremel. I mean, you have to lock the spindle thing, and then you just, you know, pull the bit out. And what this is a sanding cylinder, and it's got a bit of foam in here, and this is 400 grit paper on here. And then I use that, or I use the Dremel sanding thing to do the final sanding. So, and I'm basically going to roll it across my opening here.
Matt, what's the best way to clean them Saburrtooths when they clog up?
Well, I have a brass brush that I keep a brass brush with my Saburrtooth burrs, and if that doesn't work, you can burn it off with a torch. And I've done both.
Yeah, I know. You better low flame.
Yeah, well, if you know, I tend to get a little impatient, so I've caught myself carving wet wood before, you know, so that clogs up the burrs pretty good. So, and then you repeat it. You do 4 more of them. So you cut these parts out. So that's basically how it's done. Questions?
What if we had to power sanding with a 1 or 2 inch disc and work over that?
I do that too. I will use a disc to creep up here and to creep up here. So you could certainly use that. I get my sanding mandrels. I've made my sanding mandrels. Didn't we talk about that before at a previous meeting?
Yes, sir.
So I've made my sanding mandrels. Like this one here is basically a bolt and a washer and some foam and some Velcro. So I get sandpaper on the end of it, or you can buy them from Klingspor. I've got some that I made from engine valves. So that's an engine valve with glue and foam. I've had this for years, so I've got 2 or 3 of these. So I live in Detroit. We got a lot of engine valves floating around. So, but that's basically how you carve. How you carve a section out. You carve your section out, and then you carve the next section out. And when you're done, you've got legs. And because this part here, you know, your bottom surface is all flat, it will all sit flat on, you know, on whatever, you know, your legs are all lined up. They're all true.
And you turn those legs to where you have a nice sweep coming out. But a little while ago, you showed a slide of another one that had an offset more to it, like a flatter
Yeah,
spot.
let me go to here and show that. That was this piece here, the one on the front. So yeah, this was done in another demo, and you can see there's more Saburrtooth stuff in the background there. But yeah, I did this in a demo, and I was saying you could get really crazy with this, and said, you know, here's something that, you know, so I showed some people how to do this. So
yeah, a lot of folks believe you can't turn that.
Hey, have you seen Rebecca DeGroot's work? She turns her legs too.
Yeah. Rebecca's work is way off the other end, which is beautiful.
What was your source for the sanding drums?
You know, give me a second to find that. They are.
Okay, Matt Harber's doing a demonstration on putting feet on bowls, how to carve them in.
GregDorrance.com. Let me switch to another camera here. GregDorrance.com.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. And he's got all different kinds and sizes, and they come with sandpaper. And they I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's got a little oblong deal that you lock the sandpaper in this little slot here. So, and it comes with a little tool to do that. Let me see if I can show how that works.
All right, our webmasters put Greg Dorrance's name up in our chat right now.
So, and you buy this, you know, the soft cloth back. So it's got this, it comes with this little square tool, okay? And you just basically turn it. And it unlocks it, and you can pull the sandpaper out and change it. So it's got this little sort of oblong deal that's stuck in there, and that locks the sandpaper in. You can see the sandpaper. Okay, and that's how that works. You just turn it to lock it. So, and I have a couple of these, and you can buy them in 1/4-inch shanks like this is. This is what fits in my Fordham. That's what this one is. And I don't know what else he's got, but he's got other, you know, a wide array of stuff on there. So I use those a lot, especially when you're doing carving to even things out. You can get some really good surfaces on there. Questions?
Oh, come on. You have questions. Come on.
You know, after watching you do it, I don't want to say looks easy, but it doesn't look near as complicated as I thought it was going to be to begin with.
Yeah, one of the things I like about the Saburrtooth burrs, and I've tried all kinds of different things. I've tried the wood rasps from Harbor Freight and so on. One of the things, and I have Cutsall burrs, I've tried a whole bunch of different things. One of the things I really like about the Saburrtooth burrs is they seem to stay on the wood better. They're more controllable. Because when you're first learning how to carve things, those burrs, you tend to take too deep a bite, and those burrs will skitter around the wood. Watch your hands, they'll take skin off, okay? But for my money, the Saburrtooth burrs seem to be more consistently stay on the wood better. So, you know, I would encourage people to try other things and try what you have. I think the first ones I did, I cut with the Dremel wood carving burrs, you know, the high-speed carbide or whatever those things are that come with the Dremel. And they work, you know, they work. I have.
Were you buying those Saburrtooth burrs?
What's that?
Where are you purchasing the Saburrtooth burrs?
You can purchase them online at Saburrtooth.com. They have burrs and wheels. I have some for my big wheels, 4.5-inch wheels for my angle grinders. Those work good too.
Ronnie, that information is currently on our chat.
Okay, good.
I am
Doug?
sort of lucky here because Saburrtooth is in the Detroit area, so I know some of the reps, so I can get them for a discount. So
I have a quick question. Would you use like painter's tape to keep the feet from vibrating while you're trying to carve that? Or
absolutely you can. One of the things I would be concerned with is getting your painter's tape caught up in the drill burr or the carving burrs. Your mileage may vary. you know, if you're cutting through it, then maybe that works good. I don't know, but I know that I have, when I tried those vibrating saws and on my bandsaw, I have broken the thin legs, the profiled legs off. So I tend to stick with the burrs, the carving burrs, because I think I have more control over them, and I don't break as many. So,
and it's not a race.
Yeah, take your time. You know, don't, you know, I bit kind of deep with the green one here when I was carving it at first to get in, and I feel confident doing that because I did this demo on Sunday for my own club. So I've got recent practice, but like, you know, like Eddie says, take your time. It's not a race. Take your time, work at a comfortable speed. But
Matt, what is
Sorry,
the RPM of that Fordham?
The tool is a Fordham. Yeah, Fordham has a couple of motors. FOREDOM.
Right. What is the RPM?
Hold on. All right, Matt, I'm coming back to you, Matt. Matt, unmute yourself, Matt. Okay.
All right. I think that the big box stores like Home Depot might sell them. I know you can get them online too. A number of places sell the Fordhams, but you can do this with a Dremel too. So,
I find the Fordham is very friendly because you have a variable speed foot pedal.
Yeah, that's really useful. I really like that.
Yeah.
What's the RPM range on them?
I don't know.
Slow, medium,
I
fast?
never.
Usually around 20 to 26,000.
I usually never run it when I'm doing this. I usually never run it flat out. Yeah, I'm never powered all the way down. Maybe sanding I am, but I don't ever run it straight out.
I have a tune down rheostat mounted on my foot pedal, so that if I step way down on a pedal, I don't go to 100%. I can dial tune it in and out of 100%. And that helps if you're doing fine work in case your weight shifts or whatever. You don't get surprised.
Yeah, because it's got some serious power to it. The Fordham does, and I think they now make one that sits on the desktop, and you have a rheostat you can control. They've got some newer machines that are really interesting.
You can add that desktop mount to any of them.
Yep. That
Let me add a note of caution. If you're using that Fordham with that Saburrtooth on your lap, make sure that you have a leather apron on. It will grab cloth and wrap it. And if you have a shirt on, it's going to tear half your shirt off before you can even slow it down. So it bounces off of leather. So make sure you have a heavy leather apron, not cloth, but leather.
Yeah, that's excellent advice. You could possibly break the shaft in your tool, and you could possibly hurt yourself too. So when I first started using my Fordham, I did skin myself a few times. So yeah,
especially on the Saburrtooth teeth, because they will grab cloth badly. I was doing a bunch of carving with it, and I had it grab it, and I had went to the leather aprons.
Now,
That's
do you wear kind of a protective glove on your hand or anything like that when you're using them?
Yes, I do in general because I've got some hand issues from past injuries. But a glove, better it takes the glove than takes your skin off.
Yeah.
So yeah. And they make carving gloves that are pretty robust. So
okay.
Yeah.
So hey Matt.
Yes,
So between greenwood and drywood, can you expect the same type of problems you sometimes have with greenwood with warpage or cracking with the feet?
Yeah, it's never really a good idea to carve greenwood.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't, if I'm carving something that's dried. If you're using a reciprocating tool or you're using hand tools, that's a different story. Yeah, things warp. I mean, and if you're doing things with greenwood, and you desperately need to do feet on Greenwood, do 3 feet, okay? Because 3 feet gets 3 points of contact. It won't wobble on the table.
Got it.
Yeah, I've got the desktop, Matt. It turns 40,000 RPMs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, but I just heard from Josh Smith, a Fordham 1/8 horsepower, 1/6 horsepower at Home Depot, big box, runs at 18,000 RPM. So,
Okay, that's comparable to the Dremel, but certainly the Fordhams have more. The Fordhams have a lot more power. They're very powerful. So and everything that Trey said about the possible problems, he's absolutely right. I have done every single one of those. So I've wrapped up a shirt in the bits and so on. So yeah.
any other questions from Ed?
Yeah, Eddie, this is Terry. Can you highlight me? I want to show you something. Can you find me?
Was that?
Seeing if you could find me to highlight me, I wanted to show you guys something.
Okay, you got
I don't know if Eddie can show me.
Who is it?
Can you find me, Eddie?
What's your name?
Terry.
Now I got you, Terry.
Yep.
Whoop.
There you go. This is something I wanted to show you. This is something I made up years ago for my power Carve. And it's just a regular rheostat out of a light rheostat. And then I just got a duplex cord in there and I got it wired separately. This the red one is for the potentiometer and the white one is regular 110 volt if I want to run something else. And I find this a lot more friendly than the foot pedal because I can get controlled speed out of it all the time. I just lay this on the work surface and plug my tool into it. And this is just a cord that plugs into the wall. Comes in pretty
Nice.
handy.
Let's caution folks, you can't use this on a regular capacitor start motor.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is the foot pedal is the thing stops the minute you take your foot off the pedal. So, I don't know if there's any extra controls in there or not, but I think that's a pretty useful thing to have.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it starts getting, I don't even have to take my hand off the tool. I just pick my foot up. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to reach for a rheostat. So, your mileage may vary. I mean, Terry's solution may work for you. I have another Carver that I got the foot pad with, the micro motor, and I used it for 10 minutes and decided that was absolutely not something I wanted with that. So with the Fordham, I really like having the foot pedal. With my micro Carver, I wouldn't use a foot pedal. So, it's all depending on what you're using it for and what the job is. So.
Okay, just heard from Gordon down at Alamo Wood Turners. He said for a starter Carver, Harber Freight has a rotary Carver similar and designed to Fordham that sells for $44. It runs at 15,000 RPMs. It's got a foot control. So he's right for a beginning Carver. If you plan on doing a lot, that's going to last a little.
Yeah, I've had my Fordham for I don't know, at least 10 years. So this is the same one. It's a real workhorse. Never a problem.
I have several of them, and I tell you the one I like the best is the Fordham TX. It's a DC, and you have a lot better fine control in your foot speed. It seems to have a lot better speed control. It's a little more expensive, but if you're going to be doing a lot of it and concerned about the lower speeds, it's the better one to use.
Well, a TX is from Texas, so that makes that.
It actually has a lot of torque at the low speed. It's better than, I think it's a DC versus an AC motor on it. It takes different controllers for it.
Okay, thank you, Trey. Appreciate that update. All right, folks, with that, we're going to thank Matt for his contribution this evening and his great demonstration. Matt, we're going to see you again in a little bit, but we appreciate this tonight.
Good job, man.
You come up with some other way to put feet on something, we'll be looking for it.
Yeah, I'm open to suggestions. That cheater hole thing was a new tip for me that somebody told me in my club meeting this past weekend. So, you never stop learning. So I'm more than open to, I'm just telling you what works for me. So I'm more than happy to hear what anybody else has to say about anything. So.
Well, I'm doing a platter. I want to carve the center out for a transparent. I mean, a shadow or whatever. And I need to have it about 1/8 of an inch. That's hard to gauge with a caliper from the, going around the outside of a piece that you're holding on a vacuum chuck. The cheater hole works, make a little feeler and go with it. You can mark it and read it. Now, I'm doing a video on that right now. So
cool.
All right. Thank you again, Matt. Appreciate the help.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Matt. Great demo.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Good job, Matt.
Very good.
Keep them coming, buddy.
Great demo.
Thank you, Matt.
Good demo, Matt.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, folks, I gotta, it is right after 8 o'clock or the top of the hour. I'm Captain Eddie Castle and you are tuned into Worldwide Woodturners, and I have to let you know, we're moving. Yes, we are moving to a much bigger venue. So you can bring your coffee and donuts. There's plenty of room on our big tailgate. Bring your friends, and please, we're asking you, please bring your friends to this meeting. There's no lockout. If you can't get in, it's because we've got 300 people there. I don't think that's going to happen right away. It'll happen eventually, but not right away. And at that time, we'll see what else we can do. But until then, we're expanding the group. If you need a link, let me get you right here. I think I have it coming up. There it is. There's the meeting number. And when you go to Zoom and it says join a meeting, it's going to ask you for a number. This is the number you shall type in.
Is
Now,
there a password?
No, that makes something exclusive. We're not exclusive.
That's the new number.
Okay, sounds
That's
good.
the new number. Oh, wait. If you want the password, you got to send me some money.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially Doug Rowe. He left already, but Doug will have his hand out. No password necessary. No membership. No login. None of that. Just join us. And if you lose this number or you don't have it accessible to you, go to our website, worldwidewoodturners.org, and on the front page, our webmaster's got it right there. You press the button. He'll update it for next week. It'll be updated with the new date and the new code, and that's where you can always get it. So with that, that's what's coming up. We're going to go to gallery right now. Let me explain how that works. If you have something you would like to show in gallery, and everybody can show. In fact, here's the deal. If we hadn't seen some of your work yet, we want to see it. If you think you'd be embarrassed by it, we have a no but guarantee. We're not permitted to say but. If you say, I like that piece, but you're gone. If you like that piece, that's fine. If you don't like it, keep it to yourself. But I want to see somebody else's work. I want to see their ideas, their shape, their design. Ronnie earlier said something about form and shape and art. And you can get your brain working if you see what other people are turning. And sometimes you look at it and go, oh my goodness, why didn't I do that? I got an idea, this and this. And that's why we do this. So if you have something you want to show, let's let them know. Dane is our gallery master. He's in Arizona. And if you want to show something, just put it in chat and then Dane will pop you right up there. But I am now going to take spotlight off me. And just to make sure we don't run into any problems with audio, I'm going to go over and mute everybody. And then Dane, you can unmute yourself when you're ready to go, sir. We're ready for you.
All right, we're going to go first to Gordon.
Is that Gordon Kinslow?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, Gordon.
Hey,
got your
I'm
spotlight
kind of great. I've played with the 2x4 thing, and we came to Valentine's Day, and it was time to make something for the wife. So I made a little twig pot, make it, just out of a 2x4, and my wife really liked it. It was nice to give her something, and I gave her a little bottle to go with it. Those 2x4s are real easy to cut, pretty basic, but fun. So that's my 2x4 contribution.
Very
That's
nice.
Nice.
Very
All right.
nice.
Next
All
up
right.
will be Brent.
Dane, I think he needs to see his card.
There
If you
you
pop
go.
it up.
Oh, so sorry. Let me go back to Eddie here. Hold on a minute.
There it is.
There it is. Look at that.
Long
Way to
way
go,
you
Gordon.
turn housing materials. Hey, Gordon, He can't do it right now because he's gone. But Doug Rowe says if you ask, he will ship you drops from his new shop, just so you can keep turning it a 2x4. Let's go back to
Under control. So Brent, now we're back to you.
Hey, everybody. This week's project's not so special, but I made this little saucer platter thingy here kind of thing. It's out of a chunk of cottonwood I picked up down the river. It's kind of fun. It's kind of inspired. There's this British fellow, Stuart something or other, makes a lot of these things, and I just kind of took his lead and did this and such. So fun little project.
I really like that. That looks good.
Yeah, it does.
That's look very good.
Did
you get the color on the top?
It's alcohol dyes. I was just experimenting. I put black on and sanded it off, and then put some red on, sanded it off, put some blue on, sanded it off.
So that came out really good.
Nice.
It turned out well.
Thank you.
Good job, Brent.
Thank you, Brent. Appreciate it. Is Doug, the other Doug, with us tonight from
Doug Miller.
Doug Miller? Is Doug with us tonight?
He was.
Wait.
I'm here.
Yeah, he's there. We'll get to him here.
All right, we'll get to Doug. Well, wait, yeah, you there, Doug? Let's do this because I saw something and I can't put the picture up. I saw something you did in part of a club challenge. Can you show us?
Are you sure you're not mistaken? Yes.
There it is.
There it is. It's very similar to the pieces that we talked about last week with the black gloss rattle can lacquer or enamel, and then the Joe Sonia iridescent paints. Yes, string pull. Stuck a piece of yarn down in a pot with the iridescent paint, and then did the string pull technique. Purple, blue, and red on there. I was going to put a little gold on the edges of the flowers, but just decided not to. Thought they were saying enough as it was. Turned that center out, and it hit all three of the flowers perfectly. Really came out nice.
That's a beautiful piece of work.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I like it.
Beautiful. Very nice.
You put the flowers on and then you turned it out.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yep. Then about, I think there's 7 or 8 coats of spray can lacquer on there too, just to give it a little pop.
It's got pop to it, buddy. It's got pop to it. Doug, I appreciate you showing us tonight. I saw that on Facebook, maybe.
Yes, had it on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, and I just it stopped me. And that's why I have a photograph in my photograph gallery, because folks, I do catch this stuff off Facebook and I do save it to get the brain thinking. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate that tonight, buddy.
You're so welcome.
All right, next up is Robert. How you doing, Robert?
Robert, unmute yourself, sir. Press the space bar. There you go. Uh-oh, not yet.
No. Not yet.
Hold it down.
How's that?
There you go.
Okay, I'm just getting back into turning after a little hiatus, and I've just been doing some small stuff. Here's a seam ripper I made.
Very nice.
Yeah, and one of Ruth Niles' corks.
That's nice.
Yeah, the bottle stopper, and that's I used maple and purple heart to do that one, and just to get some feel of the tools again, I made a few of these refrigerator magnets.
Hold it back to you.
How's that?
There
Refrigerator
you go.
magnets. Made a few of those. Just kind of get the dexterity back on the fingers.
Yeah, they almost look like chess pieces.
Yeah, they do. Believe me, I didn't plan the shapes. It was just whatever happened. And then a pen. Of course, everybody's got to do a pen to try to get back into it. Let's see, how's that?
Back it up. Just pull it towards your face. There you go.
So I did the pen.
That's nice.
So I'm trying to get back into it and slowly working into it, and I appreciate the club. I have a special thank you to Eddie because a couple weeks back I called and asked about a drill bit, and you turned me on to MCS, and I got the drill bit, and I'm in the process of trying to make a pen like that.
Good.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Eddie.
Thank you. And you're welcome, Robert. Welcome to the club, sir. Welcome to the club.
Thank you.
All right.
Welcome to the club.
Thank
So
you.
we're
That's
gonna-
all I have.
We're gonna
If you got
dip
room, I
down.
got something to show.
It's up to Dane.
Yeah.
Did you give me a minute? Did you put it in chat?
No, I just kind of walked in here. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Put it in chat and then I'll get to you. Hi,
Okay.
Robo. It's
Right. These were done about 2 or 3 weeks ago. They're lamp stands. That's one design. That fits into a base like so. The other design is this one here. We had 200 of these to do. That fits there like so, base like that, and they're drilled right through.
That's the art.
And just on a 2x4, this is a bit of a whimsical thing. This is my voodoo doll out of a piece of, we call them 4x2s over in Australia, okay? you blokes all get your measurements up the spout. I don't know how you do it, but anyway. So that's a 4x2.
A 4x2.
right
Do you
on.
use a duplicator on those when you do 200 of the same item?
No, all done by hand.
Wow.
I like that
Some
voodoo
good
doll.
stuff. Eddie, do you got
The
something to put up?
story's thick.
Yes, sir. It's up.
All right.
Hey, Dane.
Hey, looky there, Robo.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah. Robo, if somebody wanted to do for you to do foreign pens, you do them, right?
Sorry, what was that?
If somebody asked you to do foreign pens, I bet you do it, wouldn't you?
If somebody asked me to do pens,
400.
no, I have a friend that does pens far better than I'll ever do. I just, we call that subcontracting or shifting the blame.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Robo.
Hey,
All right,
Dane,
Bob, you're up. Yeah, Ronnie.
when you get a second, I got something to show.
Okay, Ronnie.
Yeah,
Bob Grinstead's up.
I'll get you
Yeah.
after Bob here.
I just have a couple of crosses. Y'all were doing crosses last week. Found a bright spot here. There was one. Here's another one, same type thing. But I really like bowls. So here's another walnut bowl. I like the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
Turned out good. Anyway,
Very
that's it.
nice.
Thank you, Bob.
Nice job. Nice job.
All right. Folks, remind you again that if you have something you'd like to have in gallery tonight, you need to send put it on chat. Dane
All right,
will put it up in chat. Now Ronnie's on.
All right, I wanted to show you this. Let's see. This is 2x6s glued together. It stands about 38 inches high. And my wife will decorate it for Christmas, make it look like a Christmas tree, and she likes it so much that she keeps it out all year long and she decorates it in different manners.
Huh.
More real turning.
Ronnie, we don't have a 2x6 club.
Yeah, that's the
pretty good.
2x6s.
You have to be the
Thanks,
2x4.5 club.
All right, let's we forgot to do safety.
Oh yeah.
We need to go to
Ray's
Jeff.
got something too.
No problem.
Jeff, talk to us.
Hey. Hey, good evening, everybody, and good morning out there in Australia. Bunch of things came up watching Facebook and stuff and watching some other different shows. Bandsaw using zero clearance inserts when you're cutting very thin strips that don't get caught and jam out on the blade. First you grab or it might jam the blade, break the blade, so just be careful. You can make your own little circle, very thin cut, have very little in between the blade and stuff like that. Still a lot of free out there. What he does, getting close to his chuck, he puts tape around the jaw area. He has a tendency to hit the chuck, and sometimes, you know, I've also cut like a rubber piece of rubber tire, small tire, basically big rubber band, put over those jaws if they're sticking out. You know, obviously going past your tool rest, but you know, one accident that might save a knuckle and you know, slow down injury. Matt, I'm sorry about gloves, and I know you wear your glove for physical reasons, but somebody posted this up there. They were turning an acrylic, and when he was sanding it, it was getting hot with his hand, so he just put a glove on, and he used this glove since 2005. Well, as soon as he went to go sand it, he got caught on the jaw, snapped his finger, disjointed it, and pulled the bone right through his finger. So we don't condone gloves. If you use them, good luck. Also, Ronnie just brought up about, you know, cleaning and changing your respiratory filters at least once a year. And when you're not using them, they're talking about put them in a plastic bag to keep them clean and safe away from other things. So that's it. Be safe. May the bevel be with you.
Whoa.
I'm with you. I'm with you,
Thank
Jeff.
you, Jeff.
I only use the glove on the left hand. If I'm sanding and holding sandpaper on the lathe, I use it just with my bare hand. And yeah, caution is the watchword. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
And we need to get with Donnie on safety, because he says he had chips inside of his respirator. He should have had it on.
I thought about that. Yeah.
Busted.
All right.
Yeah, you
Okay.
don't do that,
You know,
Trey.
also, you know,
Wake up, Mark.
right.
Okay,
I'm
we're gonna
also,
go to
you know,
St. Louis
I'm
now.
totally
Talking about- We're talking about arches. Let's go to St. Louis and see what John's got for us.
Hey, John, go ahead, talk to us. Your turn.
There you go. Yep.
Okay. Long time listener, first time caller. This is a 2x4 project. I made a kitchen table, farmhouse style, for my wife, and she wanted a fruit bowl to go on it. So I made it for her by gluing up a bunch of 2x4s. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it or not.
Well, yeah, looks good.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's all just natural 2x4 pine.
Very nice, John.
And Dane, he's earned it. It's up there.
All right. Look at there, John.
Thank you.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
All right. I think you have another one coming up, Dane.
Probably. We got a bunch coming up, I believe.
All right.
Let's see here. Trying to get to the new folks.
How about Gary? Is Gary up? That's not what I want. I got to change something.
Paul Hannaby's got something to show.
Right.
Yep.
Trying to get to the new folks, Matt.
Yep.
Gary,
Sorry, go
how
ahead.
are you?
Yep.
You're muted, sir.
Okay, I take it you
There
mean
we
me.
go.
There you
Okay.
go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right, came Valentine's Day and I wanted to make something for my wife. And I've made a gazillion boxes with more or less flat lids, some with knobs or finials, some without. But I had this piece of Nara that I've had for a while, was just about the right size for a box. So to make it a little different, I made the lid where it's a little domed, and then a finial on top, and then the inside is hollowed out. And she really liked it. Oh, the finial is African blackwood.
What's your finish?
Have to stop and think. This one, I think I used basically shine juice, you know, the alcohol.
Shellac, right? Okay.
Yeah, shellac.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Finish. Thank you.
kind of from a discussion earlier, I took a class from Mark Soleil several years ago, and he put me on to 3408. And anything that's like a turned ornament, a couple or 3 inches in diameter and smaller, 3408 is all I use. It's so simple, it finishes well. And then there's a Phonics polishing compound that was designed specifically for polishing
acrylic plastic.
Yeah, plastic finish works fantastic. Oh, and just one comment on the Fordhams. My wife and I are both left-handed, and so for you left-handed folks, be sure you get a model that has an R on the end, because it's reversible. And the way the thing works is if you're just have a regular rotation, if it grabs, it wants to jump back towards you. If you run it in reverse and you're left-handed, it will tend to jump away from you, and you have better control because you can anchor your thumb and then draw it back towards you, giving you good control.
Great. Thank you for the input. That's
Thank you.
Gary, so what you saying, you can run it either way, either forward or reverse?
Certain of the Fordhams can run forward or reverse.
Okay, good, thank you.
That's good. All right.
But
let's
only
jump
the
across-
ones that have an R on the end of the model number.
Okay.
And it doesn't work on every bit, only on selective bits.
Oh, okay. Good. All right, Paul, you're up.
Paul Hannaby.
Yep, just to unmute myself. Yeah, what Kim was saying, going on from what Kim was saying earlier about checking the shape of things. I'll show you my most advanced tool in the workshop. That's a glue stick, hot melt glue stick. And what I do with that is if you grab a bowl or something and you want to check the shape of it, you just pin it at the bottom of the curve and at the top like that, and then you look between the stick and the curvature of the bowl, put it up against the light or something. If you can see light coming through, you'll see where there are low spots and high spots in the curve. So you can check you've got a smooth curve there just by using the glue stick, and that'll do up to sort of reasonable sized bowls. But that's one of the 12-inch glue sticks. So I use that quite a bit in my workshop. And, great suggestion. Very simple way of checking shapes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier.
Great
Paul.
idea.
Great tip, Paul.
Good stuff.
Thanks.
Thanks, Paul. All right, Bob Moffett, you're up.
Okay.
Once I find you.
Am I muted?
Go ahead, keep talking.
Okay. I've been finishing up a couple roughed out bows that I did. And this is a piece of ambrosia maple. It turned out real nice. Had a lot of figure in it.
That wood's all stained up. If you've got any other left over, you can send it over here because I know how to get
Oh,
it
okay.
stained up.
I'll do, I'll do that.
Okay.
And I got this one that I
Must be a
did.
big birdhouse you're building for that to go into.
This is a bird feeder. And I had a cherry natural edge one that I did that I lost the bark on it, but I still was pleased with the shape of it. And a little
nice
texture
shape.
on the bottom.
Nice texture.
And,
Real nice.
You kind of like that sorbet, huh?
I do.
Yeah, I do too.
Hard to do wrong stuff with that, with the sorbet.
Right.
Very nice, Bob.
Thank you.
Nice
I don't
job,
think I ever
Bob.
get that good.
Okay.
So now we're going to go to Stephen.
I've got to give me 1 second, if we could,
Okay.
before we go there.
Go ahead.
All right. Folks, this is Worldwide Woodturners, and it's about 30 minutes before the top of the hour at 9 o'clock Central Time. In 30 minutes, we'll pull the plug on the program. So don't sit back and wait to the last second. Okay, Dane? If you got things to show, let's get in here and show them. If you got a question, you want to talk about something, get in there and do it. And remember, beginning next week, we move to a new location, a new meeting time, a new meeting location. Not a time, all times stay the same. But the new location can be accessed off our website. And in case we ever have to adjust the program, that meeting number may change, but it'll always be on our website. So if you need to come with us then, on our website's the place. Dane, you got it, buddy.
All righty. Andy Phillips, sir, you're up.
That's you, Andy.
Thank you. A little cherry that I turned with the feet. And I wish I had seen the demonstration before I did. I did my feet with drum sanders because that's what I had. And it's something I started in a workshop in Dallas a couple of years ago and finished it up here just recently. It's out of cherry and I like it.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
Those are great feet, man. Those are great.
Yeah, I have a series of drum sanders going from a 1/2 inch up to 3 inch in 1/2 inch segments. And so I put about 120 grit drum sleeve on them and turned. It worked real good. I'm interested in getting them for them. But the other thing I'd like to show is this walnut bowl. And I'm almost ashamed to say that I bought this piece of wood at Woodcraft, paid way too much for it, but it.
I'm not seeing him highlighted.
Look, I mean, it's got a beautiful grains in it.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And
what's your finish?
I use water locks. It's old finish, tongue oil basically.
Okay.
And, they sold this as a walnut burl, and I wish it had a little bit more burl in it, but I did core it out, so I got 2 bowls out of it. And here in South Texas, we like to get off our wood for free, but I did buy this. So anyway, I was real happy with it. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy. Appreciate it. Dane, you got another one lined up, I believe.
I've got a list of them, Eddie.
All right, go ahead.
List. All right, Johnny Hughes, you're up.
I'm still turning salt shakers and pepper grinders. Do one of these antique, and that's the one I finished today. And the salt shaker is still on the lathe. Hadn't finished it, but I turned this morning. It's a piece of cherry with a lacquer finish.
Looks good.
That's it. It's just
Now, how many coats of lacquer you got on there, Johnny?
oh, there's a couple on there. It's a spray lacquer from Rattle Can. But
You
that's
quit counting after about 30 or 40. I mean, it's,
yeah.
One of my favorite finishes, y'all. Nice work, Johnny.
Yeah.
Thanks, Johnny.
It's easy to use. Man.
All right, Trace, how are you?
Wait, did y'all catch that? Johnny had that $20 to pay us for that thing. It was in his pocket. I saw it just now.
Oh, that's to pay my dues.
Oh, okay.
This is a piece that's as a box. It's a little different. There's a knot hole in it, so it looked like like an eyeball. So I made that part of it as a face, but it was hollowed out, put on a bandsaw, cut it a diagonal, and then glued back together.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I like that.
That's really neat.
And I just finished it, up yesterday. I put a black ink underneath it, and then dry brush some blue and red on it, and then rub some gold on top of it, just wax.
Ray, how did you hold that piece?
How did I hold it?
Yeah.
It's turned as a hollow, well, straighten that out. It's turned as a hollow piece, 2 pieces. You turn 2 cones.
Okay.
It's turned this way as a hollow piece and turned as a cone, then cut apart and glued together. It's 2 separate pieces and then it's put back together.
So there's 4 pieces. There's 4 pieces there, correct?
Yeah, it started
no,
as
it's 2
one piece.
It's
Started
turned as
one
2
piece and you
pieces.
hollowed it out.
It's turned as 2 pieces.
Okay.
It's
Piece
turned as
number
one
1.
this way that comes into a point, and then the other one's turned the same way. It's turned as a turn straight into a point here,
And see, he's got a,
and
cut
then
line.
you take it and put it on a bandsaw and cut it at diagonals, and then glue them back together.
That's cool.
So
You can give that thing. You can give that thing.
and I just like the eyeball in it, so I made it more as an animal.
It kind of looks like a possum.
Yep, it looks like a lot of different things, an animal.
Seal.
Seal, yeah, I was thinking of something you'd find in the ocean. And here's another piece I'm working on.
That's pretty.
Beautiful. Gorgeous.
Oh,
It's a
cool.
little small vase. I've been working on it today. Did the piercing on it and some of the wood burning and texturing on it. Still got to paint it and finish it, but
I like that part where the crab claw comes up into the void. That's a nice touch.
being open into it. Yeah.
Right. Good stuff.
So
Trey, you
So-
seem to amaze us.
Thank you,
Wow.
Trey.
something to keep
That's the
working on.
word. That's the word I was going to use. Is amazing.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you, Trey.
Okay, that's what I got.
And Trey, on behalf of the entire crowd, I'm calling it a crowd. Thank you for what you've done for us. Thank you.
Indeed.
Oh,
Thank you.
Let's all
y'all-
give you thumbs up.
Y'all are more than welcome because I basically feel like I'm promoting wood turning worldwide. So, it's going to help a lot of people.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Thank you.
Thumbs up to you, Trey.
All right, let's go over
A lot of
to
thumbs.
the,
A lot of thumbs popping up there.
let's go to the East Coast of New Jersey.
Oh,
John, you're on, sir.
Caught you
okay.
napping, didn't I?
I cut a walnut tree down in the backyard and I grabbed a piece and I made this little urn. My wife calls it the Corona urn because she said it looks like the coronavirus.
That's
Is
really
that on-
nice.
Was that
It's
on
green,
purpose?
green wood. It's walnut.
And that was in a piece you cut. I mean, that
Yeah, a tree from the backyard.
that is really a beautiful
All
piece.
natural. Nice.
Yeah, it's got a couple of cracks because it's green, but
It's character.
it's got a natural top.
Right.
Nice work.
Thank you.
John, are you new with us? Are you fairly new with us? We haven't seen you before.
Yeah, yes, you have. I showed you other stuff.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I don't remember my own name sometimes, but that's okay. Welcome aboard.
Thanks, John.
sir.
Very nice.
Thanks, John.
Danny, you like my wife's quilt in the background?
Wow, the one over your right
Oh.
shoulder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, that's pretty.
They're all over the house. She gave away so many. She has no one to give anymore to, so they're just piled up. You know what it's like.
John, you gave that tree a new life now.
Yes. I still got a whole pile in the backyard too.
Tell her to send them to Doug Rowe and he'll give them to the troops.
Not a bad
All right.
idea.
Now we're off to Kentucky to Doug Miller.
He's back.
Hey guys,
Back.
I'm
Wow,
back.
Doug.
This is a preview piece, not something I've done. In fact, somebody in the group may notice this or recognize this. this is a piece I received from my wood supplier down in Georgia, who got this from one of our members as a rough turn piece. You know, it's real rough. And this is my next piece to go on the lathe. Mark Soleil, you recognize that?
I don't, but I'll tell you what, I've probably got 700 or 800 rough turn bowls in the warehouse. Anybody needs something, I can send them something.
Elizabeth sent this to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's our buddy.
All right.
She's great. She's great. I like her stuff, her wood. She has some great stuff.
She does. And she sent this, and I'm going to put this on the lathe. I've got to go all the way to the back end and get a smaller tenon on it. And but I'll work this down, and hopefully I'll have it ready to show you guys next week.
Great. Look forward to it, sir. Do look
Sounds
forward
good.
to it.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you all.
All right, Brenda, what's shaking? You're muted.
You're not talking, Brenda.
No, are you, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you look like something out of Law and Hardy there for a minute.
I'm not on the list. I ain't got nothing to show.
You're not on the list?
No.
You just wanted Dink's favorites.
Boy,
That's all.
okay.
Show your fingers and toes.
Are you sure? Maybe there's another Brenda. No, that's fine. Let's see. Let's go to Scott in Wisconsin. How you doing, Scott? Hey,
Scott, you're on. You got to unmute yourself, sir. And
I did now.
Hey, Scott.
I got a pen that I worked at for many months. It kind of kicked my butt for a while. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this. This is a aluminum shaving in a piece of in resin, and you can see right there it kept chipping apart, so I had to keep working at it to get it to stay together. It doesn't want to stick to that aluminum spiral. That's actually a drill spiral out of a big piece of aluminum. So it was kind of cool.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to let it beat me, so I got it finally to stay together long enough to finish it. So
That's a
that's
wonderful
one.
idea, Scott.
And then I did one that was this is pine cones embedded in resin, spruce pine cones. It's the first resin piece that I cast.
Good.
Wow.
Nice.
Very nice.
And I'm going to give Brenda a shout out. I have a little boo-boo on my finger. An air compressor hose snapped at work last week and ripped my fingernail completely off.
Whoa. Don't show me your wound, please.
No.
I thought I'd give Brenda a break.
There you go. I passed the wand to you.
Believe me, it really hurts, and it hurts when I turn too.
I bet. Hope you heal up quick. All right, let's go see what Cade's got shaking.
Where's Cade? Cade's in Canada.
Hi, everyone. I'm just getting the chicken wing sauce off my fingers. I'm having dinner in my shop. All right, so I have a few things to show. Here's the box I turned for my demo on Saturday. Here it is here. The body of the box is, what is it? Yeah, the body of the box is granadillo, which is also Mexican rosewood. And the finial is Osage orange. And during the beginning of the meeting, just practicing and playing with eggs, I used the other half of my Osage orange portion that was in the chuck from this finial. And this is a Vivian hummingbird egg, the actual size of a Vivian hummingbird egg. It's the smallest bird egg, and it's 8 millimeter diameter, 14 millimeters in length. I was just playing around because I was ready to do a egg demo, but I'll do it next week if that's fine, Eddie. I'll do a chicken egg.
Okay, I think I have somebody lined up. Dean Grimes is going to be with us next week for a demo. Let me put you on the book for the week after. How's that?
Okay, sure. That sounds good. I can do a chicken egg, and then in the small piece here, which is Brazilian cherry, I can do a pheasant egg. And this week, on top of the orders of eggs for the shop that is opening again, I got a order for a whole bunch of spurtles. So I've been whipping off spurtles all day.
What's
These
a
are a
I'm
spurtle.
glad you asked.
A spurtle is a fancy word for a stir stick, originated in Scotland to stir their porridge. But yeah, it's basically a stir stick that they use in the kitchen to stir their porridges. Italians use it for pastas.
Don't they use them for stirring drinks too?
Yep, stirring drinks. You can use the other end as a muddler if you're making mojitos. Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
That's beautiful color. I like that.
I thought it was a magic wand.
It could be. It can be magic wands. If the wife or husband buy it, it's a kitchen utensil, or they can buy it for their kid for a wand. The boys will hit each other and play swords.
There you
What
go.
did you finish those with?
So far, they only have one coat of linseed oil diluted 50-50 with mineral spirits. And that's all I will put on them. Yeah.
Beautiful. Very nice. I'm very impressed by that egg that's in the chuck. It doesn't appear to be complex, but that is a very hard thing to turn.
Here's two more. Here's one in Verrawood and one in Bloodwood. These were two more finials I did for my box demo. These were sort of preparation pieces, the finials for the Blue Peter boxes. Sort of, I would show the process throughout the demo. So I used those for Vivian eggs, and then the one from this finial for another Vivian egg. Might be a set of 3.
Okay, because Doug Rowe's not. Say again?
Do you own a rabbit cage?
No, I don't own a rabbit, but I own 7 snakes and I breed them. Do you want a pet?
No, I was gonna say I used to find some stuff like that behind my rabbit.
Yeah. The Cadbury cream eggs.
Or moose.
The Cadbury rabbit.
I know what you're talking about.
It's nice stuff.
All right, now because
Come around on the stumps in my yard.
yeah, because Doug Rowe's not with us tonight, I'm going to ask you straight up: if you plant those, will you get a real tree? Incubate them. That's it. Incubate them. We incubate them when you get a real tree.
Eggplant, right?
Eggplant. There you go.
Very good.
Thank you, Kate. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Cade.
Pleasure. Thanks.
Word, Cade.
Hi, Stephen.
Stephen, you're up, sir.
Here we go. There we go. I gotta unmute myself. As a tip of the hat to the turner last week that turned across, I tried it. I made a lidded box.
That's nice. I like it.
Very nice.
Out of sassafras. And going back to my wife and her spinning, I made a drop spindle. Let's pull it back a little bit here. You hook your thread onto the top of this, and then this material over here, the fiber, and then you spin it, and as it drops down, it spins, and then you wind it onto this to hold it. So it's got a little bit of a spindle work here, and then it's got a faceplate turning here, and it's building material. So I guess it might qualify for the 2x4.
Oh, okay.
2x4.
So I got a question for you, and this is like my prototype. I want to turn these discs, and they're concaves on both sides. Okay, and I don't know how to hold them on. I tried taping it onto a faceplate, but then when I turned it around, it didn't hold too well. And I tried. What's that?
Make a jam chuck. And just,
How to,
you can put it halfway and do one side and then flip it around and do the other half concave.
won't it spin with the, on the
Because it's jammed
No,
into
it's
the.
gonna jam on the outside rim.
Another alternative is, do you have a 4-jawed chuck? Do you have coal jaws for the 4-jawed chuck?
Yeah, I do.
Because you can buy long bumpers for that.
Oh, okay.
You know, and that'll hold
Another
it too.
good idea is, oh, sorry. Try to look up turners on YouTube who turn bracelets, bangles. And I've watched a ton that have all different ideas on jam chucks, and those chucks are the compression. They're like collet chucks, but they're made out of wood. So if you know what I mean.
I have them made for bracelets.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
you can-
think Eddie, you may have had one that you made for bracelets, didn't you?
Yes, I do.
For bracelet?
Yeah, for bangles or bracelets. And if you watch their videos, they have there's several different people who have different ways they make their jam chucks. One being where they make one smooth, long Christmas tree style. I don't know how big the hole is in the center, which it might not work for this particular case. But anyways, those ideas might give you some ideas on how to hold that.
Okay.
All right.
I was
several different
trying to
ways.
find a way to
Something that might work.
hold it and then, turn it around real quick without waiting for
That's
it
kind of
to
how they have to do
glue.
bracelets.
Jam
Is that
chuck.
drilled through the, is that drilled through the center?
Yeah. Yeah, you can't
So-
see it.
Why don't you,
It's
if you
drilled.
got,
here,
if
and
you
then
got
the
spigot
spindle-
jaws,
Spindle's wider on the other side.
Spigot jaws.
use spigot jaws in that hole that you've drilled,
They're-
and you
they're
can
not
flip
big
it
enough.
either
They're not
side.
big- They're not big enough. Spigot
the
jaws
hole's not
aren't
big enough.
It's only a half-inch hole.
Oh,
Yeah, you need collet jaws, collet chucks.
You could just make a jam chuck, but instead of gripping it around the outside, just have a little spigot in the middle that's a tight fit in that hole.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like a dowel pushing through.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay. So just make
I've
it.
done the same myself in the past.
Stick a ball down.
We lost it.
Choppy.
I'm not getting that.
Take a dowel.
Take
Take a
a bolt
dowel.
and-
Go ahead.
Matt, your turn.
Okay. Take a dowel, cut the, a little bit smaller than the hole, cut it in 4s lengthwise, and put something in the middle to make the dowel, 4 dowel pieces expand in your hole.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And maybe somebody's got a different idea about how to do that.
Or you can
Exactly
use
what
a
I was-
ring mandrel.
Yeah, could use a ring mandrel.
A ring
You could
mandrel
turn
will
it-
go small enough.
A pen mandrel would work with the bushings.
Yeah, you could use that too.
A ring mandrel though is compression, so it would expand out against the hole, so it wouldn't allow it to slip.
A
Okay,
half
I'll look
inch is
that up. I don't know what that is. So ring manual, mandrel.
Yeah.
Dane, he's
You
earned
could
his
turn
card.
Great.
You can
Thank you
turn
very
a
much.
half-inch
All right.
dowel, drill
Wait,
a hole
hold
in
on.
the end, and then when you bring your tail stock up, that hole will get split by the tail center, and that'll give you your pressure and hold it.
Say that again, Kate.
If you turn a dowel to a half-inch, the exact same size as the hole, fit it over the dowel, but drill a hole with your tail stock into the end of that dowel, and then put your live center back in there, and that comb, when that cone engages in that hole, tighten your quill, and it will split that hole open slightly, giving you the side pressure within that hole.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Right.
it'll
Good.
wedge it.
Thank you.
And Dane Stevens earned his card. He's up tonight.
Oh, yes. Let's check that out. Look at there, Stephen.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't get it. Let me see.
You'll be added to the list on the website.
There we go. Hold on. I gotta get a picture of that.
Everyone will be added to the list that showed their 2x4 stuff tonight.
Thank you.
We're trying to see if we can get that list to fill a page and then more.
I think we're getting there close. All right, Jeff, we're going to jump back to you again for something to show instead of safety.
Jeff?
Yep. Yep.
You're up, buddy.
All right. Yeah. So, yeah, I was cleaning out the garage and, or the shop, and I found this cool piece of wood sitting on a shelf that fell behind it. Turns out it's a bandsaw box. I did not make this, I bought this, but it was such a cool piece. So it's made into a bandsaw, and the wood is just gorgeous. I mean, this looks pretty old. The back, you can see that they had little brass stoppers they made to pull out, and it's a little drawer. And it's just a cool thing. I just thought, I know it's not wood turning, but it's wood at least. And,
Thank you, Jeff.
Cool. Thanks.
All right.
Before
I
we
have a
move
little
on,
tip.
I'm sorry, say again, sir.
I have a little tip.
Cool.
Tip just to correspond with Matt's topic about the burrs and the saber-tooth burrs or cuts-all burrs, or when they get clogged and hard to clean, you can burn them with a blowtorch, but you can also use these neoprene rubber erasers. These are what I use on my belt sanders to get all the sawdust out of my belt sanders. But when I'm using my burrs and stuff for shaping, like the saber-tooth burrs, or also when I'm using my sanding discs and I'm sanding wet, these will clog with the wet sawdust that comes off of the wood, but also the burrs will clog with that dust as well. So what I do is I take this and I take a bar clamp and I clamp it to my lathe, and then as I'm sanding the piece here, when the paper gets clogged up, I just keep the drill running, run it along here, and it cleans my paper, and I'm right back to sanding the bowl. But also with my saber-tooth burrs, I would set up a stool here, my dust collector behind my lathe, carve with my saber-tooth burrs, but when it gets plugged up with dust, again, this would be bar clamped to the bedway of my lathe. I would just touch it across the piece and it would be clean again and ready to use. Yeah.
Thank you, Kate. Appreciate that. See how much information we're sharing tonight? It's really great. We've got, I guess I'm back. It's about 3 minutes before the top of the hour. Just reminding everybody that we're moving. The meeting number will change. It'll be on our website. So if you didn't put in a meeting number, and I think I can go over and do that for you. Here it is. Here's a new location popping up. That's our new code. And beginning next week, we'll be using that code on Zoom to access our program. Now, if you can't access the program this way, you can always go to our website. And on our website, there will be a button that you can push. That'll get you to the meeting. It's that good. Now, we are asking you for one little favor. Bring a friend, bring a wood turner, bring somebody interested, somebody you want to get started in the program, somebody that needs a little help, somebody wants to chat, show photographs, whatever. It's right here on your wood turning club. Right? Anything else from the audience? We got 2 minutes.
Yes, sir. We got one more. Terry, you're going to close us out. You're muted, I think.
Okay, folks, you have to press this. You have to unmute yourselves. We mute everybody because of background sounds.
To press your space bar, Terry.
Very good.
You almost had it. There you go.
Talk, Terry.
Fine. I'm not getting used to this thing. I've been doing a meeting on a phone and it wasn't working well. That's why I haven't participated well. And this is an iPad and I don't know how to use it, but I'm gaining. This is a part of the 2x4 challenge. It's about 6 inches in diameter and about 9 inches tall. It's all made out of segmented 2x4. I found a really nice one and I made 3 of these. And they come out pretty decent. I kind of like them. They got about a 1/4 inch wall in them. You can see the bottom. And I live down in South Texas, Rockport, about a couple 100 yards from the bay. The humidity down here is always crazy. It's really humid all the time. Well, last week, if everybody knows what happened, we had a monster of a freeze come in and froze everything in the South Texas and most of Texas. And our utility company shut all of our power off for 4 days. So we had quite a mess down here. But anyway, what happened was, I had 2 of these in the house. And I had one out in the shop. Well, the one in the house, I hooked the generator up and was running the furnace. The humidity level went to nothing, which never happens down here. And I don't know if you can see the bottom, but the segmented piece is pulled apart. They pulled apart on the 2 that were in the house. The one that was in the shop was okay. But this one, you see the lid off of the other one. The humidity just went to nothing. I think I'd like to use the segmented on the bottom because I like the figure, but I think I probably would have been better off using one piece on them. The sides didn't split, just the bottom did. The bottoms and the tops.
And he's earned himself a card there.
But anyway.
All right, thanks, Terry. Let's
Nice
go look
job.
at this. Look at this.
Yeah, one of these days I'll figure out how to use this thing.
Yeah, just keep showing up. You'll get it.
Yep. All right, folks, it's that time of the day or evening, and we've been here a couple hours, and we've been having, I understand, a pretty good meeting. I want to thank Matt for an awesome demonstration. A lot of input from our members and just folks that like to turn wood, and we'd like you to be part of this. Remember, we move next week, same time, same spot, just have a different access to get there. And we'll be with you, and we'll be right here as Worldwide Wood Turners. Thanks again. Y'all have a great evening.
Thanks,
and I'm going to count to 10 and then press the button. Go.
Don't forget.
Good night, Eddie. Thank you very much.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Save the chat. Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Have a great week.
Save the chat.
Yes.
Hey, everybody.
Okay, give me a
Brenda.
minute. I've got to go
Bye.
copy something. I can't save chat. Give me 1 second.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
30 seconds.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
Yeah, no, I'm having to flip through it.
Texas, not Mississippi, Texas.
1 Texas, 2 Texas. Hey, Eddie, if you'd like me to demo that string pull sometime, just give me a week's heads up and I'll be glad to do it.
Oh, man, you're on a pad. You're on a pad, buddy.
All right.
Sounds
Yeah.
cool.
You'll give me a little time, a little heads up so I can get a piece prepped. I can show it in 10, 15 minutes easy.
All right. With that, and now we're up to 3 weeks ahead. It's a challenge. Come on, get in here. All right.
All right.
Said I count to 10. Dane, did